This way I can hear you guys a little bit easier. But good morning, everybody. As always, this is Old Mage Guy. And let's get to our morning news. I'm up a little bit earlier than normal. I've got to receive a Khaleesi this morning. And apparently Dad needs to file / wine open. Khaleesi's main reason is the reason I'm up. Dad just asked for the bottle opener. And someone bitch about one more. I was off screen for the first 4 minutes and then blew my nose. And it's like, okay. One, I deal with dog dander and have an allergy to it. Every morning is that way. And two, yeah, I typically have stuff going during that time. You want to bitch about that? You can just walk away. Meantime, let's get down to brass tacks. We get like the attention. Ooh, Power Man's coming to my area? Fuck! Not nice. I'm gonna answer this real quick.
Old Mage Guy is now live. Streaming politics. Morning news with OMG.
Alright. Okay. I guess that's proper.
This is the Midas Touch podcast. Earlier in the day, Donald Trump held a press conference in the Oval Office with UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Donald Trump was asked by a reporter if he still thinks Zelensky is a dictator, since Donald Trump's been repeating that over and over again while refusing to condemn Putin. Here's what Trump said.
The president think that Zelensky is a dictator. Did I say that?
Yes.
Next question.
Wow. Yeah, you were caught saying it live on fucking camera in the middle of a fuck. Not once, not twice, but multiple times he was caught doing this.
Did I say that? Either severe cognitive decline, gaslighting, or just being malicious. I think it is all of the above, by the way. Here's what Donald Trump wrote, where he clearly calls Zelensky a dictator. It was in a social media post that Donald Trump made. Donald Trump is then asked if, what would happen, Donald, if the UK was sent peacekeeping forces into Ukraine and they were attacked by Russia? Would the United States help out its ally, the United Kingdom?
He says no.
Just to point out that if British troops are in Ukraine keeping the peace and get attacked by Russia, will you come to their aid? If the British people are in Ukraine, you know, not much about the British. They don't need much help. They can take care of themselves very well. You know what?
Then Donald Trump, while sitting next to Keir Starmer, the UK's Prime Minister, was trying to say, look, this is a great relationship we have with the United States. And then Donald Trump, bullies him and humiliates him, or tries to humiliate him in front of the world press by saying, I think Russia's been acting very, very well here. What do you think? What do you think is happening? Do you think, it was Starmer, you think the UK can take on Russia on its own? Here, watch this.
Between our two countries, that is why this is the greatest alliance for prosperity and security I think the world has ever seen. Whenever necessary, we absolutely back each other up, and that's. Could you take on Russia by yourselves? Well, one or two more.
CDKeys.com. Shop the latest games and upcoming releases at the best prices. Enjoy incredible savings with up to 35% off new releases. Don't miss out. CDKeys.com. Last game.
I said skip.
Just absurd conduct there by Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump says that under no circumstances will Ukraine join NATO. And then Donald Trump blames Ukraine wanting to join NATO as the reason for Russia's unlawful invasion of Ukraine. Clip.
Europeans want Ukraine to be part of NATO as part of this deal. Are you willing to budge on that at all, or is it a firm?
Well, I could be very nice and say, oh, well, we'll work to it. Look, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's what started this whole thing. Biden said that.
And then, flashback, 24 hours, Donald Trump convened a cabinet meeting that was led by Elon Musk, not a cabinet member. Elon Musk wearing his dark MAGA hat, the t-shirt with a jacket over the t-shirt. And then Elon Musk was saying, look, we're going to make mistakes at Doge. We're going to make the mistakes. Like remember when we made the mistake recently about Ebola? We fired the wrong Ebola people. We, by the way, also fired people who work at our over nuclear material. He fired critical people.
Privet typos na Hirohito.
Avian flu.
Give me a sec to get that translated so I can understand what you're saying, bud. Hello. I'm thinking I might have seen who said person is. Welcome, welcome, and I appreciate the. I'm going to take that as a compliment. If it's not, go ahead and tell me. But
He fired tens of thousands of government employees who work hard and sacrifice for our government. It's all one big joke. But Elon Musk, play the clip.
Was this real? Just go to Doge.com. So, states. So we respond.
Just go to Doge.com. All you gotta do is go to Doge.com. I'm not gonna testify. I'm not gonna testify before Congress like I'm supposed to. But we may make mistakes like Ebola. Good joke, everybody. Good joke. I mean, what the hell are we watching? Let me bring in Brett and Jordan from the Midas Touch podcast. And want to start with those clips right there because it is dystopian to say the least.
It is incredibly dystopian. Good to be here with you, brothers. Good to be here, everybody watching and listening to the Midas Touch podcast. You know, a few things. First off, Trump looks tired. Like, for those listening, the bags under Donald Trump's eyes are growing. He looks exhausted. He looks out of it. And frankly, like, you're right. It's like you have two options, Trumpers, in that situation. When you hear comments like that, like Zelensky, did I say he was a dictator? I don't know. He's either senile or he's a liar or both. So I'll let you guys decide what your leader to be described, but he's one of those things. Elon, when I hear Elon, it's just bizarre that he's taking over these cabinet meetings and whatnot. But there's this guy who went viral this week who's been doing an Elon Musk impression, and I cannot listen to Elon Musk now without thinking of it. Have you seen this guy on TikTok? It's so, maybe I'll pull up the clip if I can in a second. But yeah, no, it's completely bonkers what we are seeing. But honestly, when I look at Trump in all these situations, I see such weakness. I feel like he's tired, like his heart is not in it, and it feels like one of the reasons why he's just kind of delegating everything, letting Elon Musk basically do his job for him. It's just like his heart isn't in this thing. Like it's just a whole bizarre dynamic. But anyway, we've got a lot to discuss. I'll turn it over to Jordy. Jordy, what's new?
I'm excited to get into it. There's just too much to cover. So with that, I just want to say, what's up, Midas Mighty? Can't wait to get into today's show. And Benji, where do you want to start us off?
Well, let me start off by showing you this photo right here of Donald Trump. If we've got a photo of him without the orange, do we have that photo of him? Right? Yeah. Well, let's first show you there. This is that guy at HNC.
So, someone tried to do Trump without the makeup. I don't think they did a very good job. I think they made Trump look a little bit younger. Either way, it's kind of scary.
This is what Donald Trump would look like if his skin tone matched the color around his eyes when sleeping. I think the hesitation there of Brett posting that photo is, and are you really calling up this photo? Yes, Brett, I'm really calling up this photo because to me, one, I had to see it, so all of you might have to see it as well. And two, it highlights the absurdity of all of this. That we literally have a human being in the White House who paints his face like a orange and then just goes out and does the...
No, it's not an orange. He paints his face like a penny. There's a reason I call him a copper tone cobblehead. Because he paints his skin as if he was a penny. He thinks he's money, but in the lowest possible form. that's very much a psychological thing for somebody who has this level of narcissistic personality disorder. Which you don't see this level very often. Even my narcissistic younger brother, who I can't stand to be around for very long, is better than this. Not much, but he's better. That says something.
That are obviously destructive to every aspect of our country, and then you have these spineless MAGA Republicans like, oh, you made a boo-boo when it comes to Ebola. Oh, you made another boo-boo when it comes to the nuclear spices. What are we talking about? Measles? This happens all of the time. Measles? You don't say. I mean, look, you have RFK Jr. at the cabinet meeting being asked, and Donald Trump's like, Junior, you tell me what's going on with the measles? And then he's like, and RFK Jr.'s like, well, it happened.
Hold on, I know. Yeah, you have to do the impression.
No, do the impression.
All right, Ben, for the audience, everybody is asking in the comments to hear your RFK impression. So if you really
I'm not doing the RFK impression.
Come on, man.
you really want to do the impression, we'll let you do it.
Before Ben does the RFK impression and maybe gets canceled or not, is just hard to me that the MAGA base, it will never not be disheartened me with the MAGA. Like, I'm not even talking about the politicians out there. I'm talking about the die-hard Trumpers. Dude wears orange makeup. I mean, just like, what's alpha about that? What's alpha, Trump supporters about kissing the feet of billionaire oligarchs? These people wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, and yet you're going to go to the grave defending them? They are the most anti-American, anti-democratic people to ever exist and to ever walk this country.
What is it, Ben?
I was going to say that they are pissing on their supporters even though they're not on fire. And the supporters are like, more pee-pee, please, Mr. Trump. More pee-pee.
This episode's starting on crazy, but so Ben, as we await your RFK Jr. impression, can I play this guy's
Not doing the RFK Jr. impression. Elon.
God, it's like us talking about this shit from across the fucking world from each other. Maybe that's why I like these guys so much. That's the kind of shit we would have done. No more pee-pee? Yeah, that would come out of our mouths. One of us.
After this, we'll go here. Let me show you this guy, and then we'll get to the RFK because it's so good. This is not Elon Musk. I think this guy's name is Alex Byron. If I'm saying that right, Alex Byron. He's a comedian. It's a pitch perfect impression of Elon.
Yeah. So, comedy. They're trying to take this away. No, not gonna let them. Yeah. I saw Tony Hitchcraft at the skit, and said, Puerto Rico was a pile of garbage, and it's like, yeah, well, it is.
It's really good.
We built up this audience now.
No, it's
I'm
not.
doing an RFK impression. I'm not doing legislation. I'm gonna show self restraint, but I will show the clip of RFK, which is absolutely deplorable from the cabinet meeting. Let's play the clip.
Bobby, you want to speak on that? We are following the measles epidemic.
The sound was pretty close, but everything else about it wasn't right.
This one in Gates County, Texas, we're told in my community, there were 2 people who have died, but they were watching it, and there are about 20 people hospitalized for quarantine. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year.
Let's not get distracted here, brothers.
And that's the other thing is these guys will do things like that themselves, like calling out that reporter trying to razz RFK Jr. about his throat. Now, I do not like RFK Jr. at all, but man's been through some shit. Man's suffered some fucking pains, and his voice is part of it. It's part of what he's had to go through. That's no different than poking at the fact that somebody's missing a leg. Well, you're not walking too good. Well, you wouldn't walk too good if you were missing a leg and using a prosthetic either. Same shit. Same shit.
That's not true. Okay, there's nothing he's saying is true. And oh my gosh, the conspiracy theorist who says that he wants an 8-year moratorium on infectious disease research, who attacked vaccines over and over again, and is maybe one of the leading spreaders of freaking measles and other pandemics from the past that we stopped with vaccines. It shouldn't shock you that he's out there spreading medical disinformation, and at the same time, a lot of these jobs that are being cut, NIH, CDC, working groups within Health and Human Services, which is under the purview of RFK Jr., these working groups that are responsible for kind of investigating and then coming up with the formulations for flu vaccines, right, for like next season, they've been gutted as well. So there's been a lot of reporting. Are we going to be able to have flu vaccines for next year? Right now, as America is less vaccinated because of idiots. Yeah, here's the article from Bloomberg. The Trump administration has canceled an upcoming meeting of the Food and Drug Administration Vaccine Advisory Committee, a move that can complicate efforts to produce flu shots in time for the upcoming season. And that as they also get NIH and CDC jobs as well. And we know that flu deaths right now are very, very high. I don't even know if we're getting the accurate information of just how high they are because Trump's cut so much out of the government. And by the way, COVID cases are very high as well. And Trump and his administration are looking away. But these are the people who brought you. Inject ivermectin into your arm, which you should never do. It was not good advice. Like a miracle, it's all going to go away. It's never going to hit our shores. I mean, these people are liars about everything. Of course, Donald Trump is a liar in a way that's hitting you in your purse, in your pocketbook, in your wallet. Donald Trump's promise, day one, prices will go down immediately. Jobs there'll be so many jobs, you're not going to know what to do with all of your jobs, he said. War in Ukraine caused by Russia's unlawful invasion. He said it would be resolved in 24 hours. You know what Donald Trump is focused on, though, is a budget that cut $4 trillion in taxes for the billionaires and decamillionaires, and then cut your Medicaid, $880 billion of your Medicaid. It will add $19 trillion to the deficit at least over 10 years. And let me tell you what I think the real number that it's going to add to the deficit, and let me give you my data points for it as well. I think it adds $50 trillion to the deficit. And you want to know what I think is Donald Trump's top tell? You know those stupid Trump gold card things that he's selling, where he's saying that if you are from another country and you want a visa and then to become a citizen, he goes, here's what you got to do. We're going to replace our immigration system with Trump gold cards. Russian oligarchs, you're welcome. He literally said, Russian oligarchs, you are welcome. Chinese oligarchs, you are welcome. You just pay $5 million. And he goes, if we can get 10 million of these Chinese oligarchs, Russian oligarchs, he said this, to become citizens of the United States through the purchase of the Trump gold cards, we can make $50 trillion. So to me, what I think they're doing as they gear up for the reconciliation process after passing the blueprint for this budget that will add $19 trillion. They're going to use Doge to come up with all of these phony numbers. They'll use the Trump gold card to come up with all of these phony numbers to claim there is a...
Now, let's be clear about this Trump immigration gold card. It's quite literally selling America. American citizenship. No tests. No nada. It's your visa become citizenship. No test for citizenship. This is not something that is hyperbole. This is something that has been confirmed multiple times over. Trump is selling America to the fucking cartels and oligarchs. Because people who have that kind of money, which isn't necessarily too hard for cartels and oligarchs, can be sending them motherfuckers in here whenever and wherever they want. But because somebody has a fucking gold card, they can just waltz right in. Because they paid $500,000. Excuse me? So you can bribe your way into America, but we don't do refugees. Yeah, I'm starting to have some real issues with that. Because the only people getting in on those gold cards are fucking garbage. These are people that have never understood what it means to follow the law. Have never had to. They've got too much fucking money. These people aren't going to give a shit about American civil rights. They've never had to. They've had too much money. I'm sorry. Anyone who can shell out $500,000 for a fucking Trump gold card visa shouldn't be fucking entering America. If anything, they should damn near be locked the fuck up. Because the way I see that, that is nothing but a fucking bribe. For fucking real. A gold card is nothing but a fucking bribe for immigration status. Become a citizen. Bullshit.
Perfect offset to the deficit that they are going to be creating by selling gold cards and snake oil. Because Trump is a fraud. The guy's been a con artist his whole life. He's bankrupted basically all of the casinos that he's run. I'm not going to show it again because I show it in so many videos. Go read Donald Trump's annual financial reports. In the reports, Donald Trump has to list all of the businesses that he bankrupted. He's not a good businessman. He's not a builder. He's a destroyer.
Yeah.
Go through it line by line. I've never seen someone go bankrupt so many times, over and over again, or run businesses into the ground. And by the way, the business he's running now, Trump Media, that earned less than $4 million in revenue last year. So the Trump business lost $400 million, made less revenue than your local boba shop. Okay, this is not a good business person right there. Well, here he is at the cabinet meeting saying, blaming the current administration fact that eggs are a disaster. Prices are going up. And he pretends that he's not the current administration. Here, watch this.
Eggs are a disaster. The Secretary of Agriculture is going to be showing you a chart that's actually mind-boggling what's happened, how low they were with us and how high they are now. But I think we could do something about it. Madam Secretary, I think you're going to do a fantastic job in that position.
While all of this is going on, remember Elon Musk's post from January 28, 2025. Fork in the road. The Trump administration's offering all of these federal workers buyouts, and then they're firing all of these people. This was Elon Musk's post today. Today, this was his post. There is a shortage of top-notch air traffic controllers. If you have retired but are open to returning to work, please consider doing so.
Sometimes
Wow! It's almost as if everything we were telling them not to do, they should have listened to us. Wow! It's almost as if you need those air traffic controllers that were there before you fired them, you moron. Ugh! How can these two people be so incompetent? I don't get it. Am I really just that intelligent to know that that stuff is fucking common sense shit? When it comes to doing that? When it comes to running the government, that the shit that they're doing is negative, and that's common sense? Firing the leaders of the health boards? That's common sense stupidity. For fucking real. Oh. And somebody still tries to claim that Elon's the smartest man in the world. I'm sorry. Bull fucking shit. Stephen King, the horror writer, is more intelligent.
we get so caught up in our own point of view that we fail to see the common
Work. Please consider doing so. Please consider doing so. So now they fire everybody. So he goes on his social media platform to then beg people to work who are retired. Right?
It's also bizarre that they're making all these government edicts on Twitter. Like, how are people even supposed to get these messages? Like, he just assumes that everybody is on Twitter all the time and following his messages who works in the federal government. That's just kind of a weird thing to begin with. And that's what happens when you go through and just try to, like, destroy everything. I've seen the way these tech people view the world is through the lens of how they view the tech world. And there's that phrase, you know, you got to break stuff, or whatever the phrase is, right? That doesn't work with the federal government. When you turn off things on Twitter, there are glitches that happen. Your DMs don't work. Your retweets may stop working. When you turn off things with the government, people lose their health care. People die. If parks aren't protected, people go on fire. Airplanes start crashing. Food gets poisoned. That's what happens when you break things in the government. And that's why you can't use that strategy in the federal government, even if it is. Maybe it does work in the tech world. Maybe it is a disruptor thing. It doesn't work in the federal government. And I think they're finding that out every day. And just like the how cavalier they are about it is what drives me absolutely crazy. They try to act that they're being transparent when they're anything but it. These fake numbers on their website, which every time reporters are looking at it, they'll say, we saved $66 billion. And they'll like, the reporters will be like, nah, it's actually 6. And even that is not, doesn't look quite right. And then they just act like, oh, oops, we turned off the Ebola, what are we going to do? We turned it back on, everything's okay. Then we find out that that is a lie also, that things were actually severely damaged as a result of Elon Musk getting rid of
YouTube,
funding.
Hinson
It's just
Jackson.
one thing after the next, after the next. One scam on top of one scam on top of one scam, just like we would expect from Donald Trump. The latest scam, then, of course, is the one that you were referencing earlier with the gold cards, they're calling it. And they're going to use this, and all the Republicans are going to use this, including MAGA Mike Johnson, to say that, you might see all these numbers. I want you to be prepared for it, because they're already starting it. You're going to see all these numbers about major deficit spending. You're going to see all these numbers about the debt skyrocketing to levels that we've never seen before in American history. But once those gold cards kick in, it's going to be a gravy train in this country where you're all going to be getting money. It's going to be a boon to this country. It's a scam. This is like literal snake oil that they are selling you, and they expect people to believe it. I just hope people are...
Wait. So they're not just... Oh my. So it's worse. It is worse yet. The gold cards are not only a buy your way into American citizenship, but also an attempted fleecing of the American people to make it think that they're going to get something out of it when they're not going to get shit, except more hell. Alright, Loki, you need to chill out back there, dude. I've been letting you be, but now you're being a butt.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson. I heard we're getting stimulus checks again.
I've been hearing that rumor too. I hate the idea of it. Because those stimulus checks come off the end of shit. In the end, that's going to drive inflation way the fuck up if it does happen. I'll tell you what, though. If I manage to get one, it's going into the channel. Completely and utterly. I'll pay up my internet for a year, buy a good PC, and camera, and fucking equipment. And that's how I will spend.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson.
If I get it.
What's Loki doing back there?
Chilling. After already being an ass this morning. I mean, like I said, when I came back in, he was good and didn't bark. But that's where the good ends. Again, somebody said he had to piss on the bed in spite. Brand new mattress. The only one that's ever laid on that, legitimately laid and slept on that mattress, is him. It's a several $100 memory foam mattress. And I mean, not the cheap shit. And now it's been soaked in dog piss. Well, I can't say no. It's been there for a little
YouTube,
bit.
Hinson Jackson, LMAO.
Yeah. That's why you'll hear me tell him to go to his bed. Because it's literally his bed. He marked it, he claimed it. And the first time he did it, too.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson. Where is he supposed to piss?
There is typically a potty pad for when he does go inside. But otherwise, he's supposed to tell me so I can take him out. And I do pay attention to that. That's why half the time you'll hear me go, "What's up, boo?" It's because he's kind of him-hawing around, not sure what he wants to do. And he knows how to tell me he's got to go. He's actually good about telling me when he wants to tell me. Keyword, wants to tell me. That's why I say he's a big, white, fluffy brat. And then, of course, I love furry brat. Right next to me as always. Yeah.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See your stripes go all the way on her belly. Oh, shit. Alright, I will be right back. I gotta go grab a Khaleesi. It was on the way. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the puppy. Mister. You cut that out. You damn well know better. Give me a second, get your blankie cheek. Like I said, give me a minute. Yeah, I said he's... I gotta go back and get your blankie. You better get that butt back up on that bed. Lay down. Lay down. You know better than that bullshit. Damn well know better. Alright. Where don't you? You all curled up in your blankie. Yes, I'm going to sit down. After Dublin moved, it's switch you over, but I'm not going to force Dublin to move. That'd be lazy lope. Okay. Yeah, I love the butt, but he's butt.
Con, because it's such
Butt,
an
puppy.
in-your-face con. I mean, this puts multi-level marketing schemes to shame. This puts like Bernie Madoff to
Chichi.
shame. This is a con
Looks like
on
you've got a
such
friend.
a massive level right now, and I just hope that people don't fall for it. And that's why reporting this stuff, I think you need to report it with clarity like that, and not accept these as real premises. Not to run your headline as like,
Mike Johnson suggests that the gold cards are going to pay for the deficits. Don't even allow them to put that lie in the headline like they
Kiki,
want because it is
after you go home
bogus.
tonight, I'm gonna get your blanket
Your
and
job
freeze.
as a reporter, as a journalist, is not just to
Yeah,
echo
well, your blanket smell
the
better.
MAGA and right-wing
Next time, I
talking
think you
points.
butter.
It's to get to the bottom
Yeah.
of it and to make sure that what you're reporting and putting into the world is actually factual, not just whatever bullet
Yeah, better.
statement that they want, that
Yeah, better.
these MAGA Republicans, Mike Johnson, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, want you to just regurgitate. It's a dangerous thing. I don't like bashing on reporters.
YouTube,
Absolutely not.
Hinson
You're kidding?
Jackson,
I need
the
to defend
gang's
it at
all-
all costs.
Yep.
But I'm just urging every single reporter out there, please, just don't be a mouthpiece for this administration. When it comes to Elon Musk, he is an egomaniac, Brett. He does truly think that when he tweets, everybody sees it.
Yeah,
All the federal employees, everybody on Earth, everybody.
he's not wrong. From a psychological standpoint, if you pay attention to Elon's accounts enough, yeah. He really does think everybody hears him if he's tweeting. That's not hyperbole. That's part of the reason why I've said before, it was bad enough Trump was up there. Find out Elon's beside him. Fuck. That is not the kind of people we get up there. That is going to screw everyone. But a group of people seems to think that that behavior is okay. I'm being a bully.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson, Elon is a clown like Trump.
Do not think of them as clowns. That is a bad way to do it and an insult to any clown out there. I know some very good clowns. And I'm pretty sure there's one that's pretty pissed off at him, at those two right now. At least one. He goes by the name Bumper. And he went to clown college through the Navy. And
YouTube, Hinson Jackson, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
yeah, he's probably pretty fucking pissed about this shit. The only time he clowns around is when he's doing the job of a clown. Otherwise, it's just him being himself. And, yeah, that man's got a strong will. Fighting several fucking debilitating diseases and still going. I got a lot of respect for that man. He may not necessarily be the sharpest tack, but nobody's the sharpest tack. So, can't be judgmental on that point. I know first term he supported Trump. I don't think he did afterward. Especially after the bad mouthing of McCain. Because that definitely would have rubbed Bumper the wrong way. Trying to think of him expressing anger as a clown. I've never actually seen him do any of his clown work, so I can't really picture it.
He thinks his tweets basically serve as law. You know, look no further than the 5 bullet points of what you did this week that he sent out last week that sent mass chaos throughout this country. You know, once you start ruling
YouTube,
dictating by
Hinson Jackson, I want some breakfast, dude.
It's a scary place
Get
to
some.
be. I mean, just like the malignant narcissist in chief, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, who's actually the president. Sorry, Donald, you ain't. Elon's the one in control now, buddy. You know, and they're just such babies, too, when it comes down to it. Because when you do call them out for it, Brett, and these reporters do a nice job, and they try to get to the bottom of it, all of a sudden, transparency, not a thing. They don't want to be as transparent with you, Brett. When they're in charge, Elon Musk is in charge. He wants to fudge the numbers. And if you start to question his numbers, you're fake news.
You just paid today.
That's fake news. Just like when it comes to comedy, right? When you start making fun of these people, what do they say? Oh, that's not funny. That's mean. That's critical. Oh, the tolerant left. What about we all have to play by the same set of rules. You MAGA crybaby.
Brett, pull up that photo one more time. Yeah, there it is right there. That's Donald Trump before he paints his face orange. I don't even know what to mean. That is a rendering of what he probably...
I don't want to show that to you guys because that is haunting.
This guy David posted. I'm showing you there for no reason. But what I do want to talk about when we get back is Donald Trump's and Epstein's connections, because you're not going to hear about that on the corporate media. But this has actually become a big deal again right now. We've always been covering it here because the MAGA Republican Congress members, led by Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, are saying, wait a minute,
YouTube,
Donald claimed that he was going to release all the Epstein files. That's really all we've heard about. It's like their big issue. And now all of a sudden you're not releasing it. And then the Department of Justice claimed that they were releasing it, but then they released like phone logs or like the phone log sheet that we know that Trump's name was already on. Like, stuff that was released in 2021, like a very small portion. And now you have Anna Paulina Luna, MAGA Republican, yelling at or attacking the head of the Department of Justice, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Attorney General Pam Bondi's attacking Kash Patel and saying, Patel, you're not turning over the records to me. I don't really have it. And then I wonder, maybe the fact that the guy who's in the White House is the guy who said that Epstein's a great guy who likes women on the younger side, who partied with Epstein, and who Epstein would find women to traffic at Mar-a-Lago, like Virginia Giuffre and others. Oh yeah, Donald Trump wished Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the sex trafficker for Epstein. Well, you're not going to hear about this other corporate media. That's why independent media is the way to go. We'll talk about that when we come back from our first quick break. I want to remind everybody, though, Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. If you ever wanted to meet Brett, Jordan, and myself, and ask us questions, a few times a month we go on Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. We hold exclusive Zoom meetings there. So sign up. We'll let you know when the next Zoom meeting is going to be with a secret link. Again, we don't have outside investors, so that helps build this independent media platform. Also, make sure you check out MeidasPlus.com as well. MEIDASPLUS.com. That's where our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, cooks.
Turn it down when they
Make sure you subscribe here.
just do the blah blah on their commercial.
Subscribe. Let's go.
I don't have to.
2025 has been a pretty
In the meantime,
Fortunately, I previously went to Policy Genius
and it's
peace of mind for my life insurance, and I want you to see proper. So, make this the year you check life insurance off your list and protect your family's future with Policy. It's time. Talk about Policy Genius on my show. I always get positive feedback after people give it a shot and they see how easy it is. It's easy to compare quotes from America's top insurers side by side for free, no fees. Policy Genius has a licensed support team that will help you get what you need fast so you can get on with your life and answer your questions, they handle paperwork, they advocate for you throughout the process. Look, life insurance is a form of financial. Policy Genius is the
help her out a little bit.
online insurance marketplace to join thousands of happy Policy Genius customers. So
she's definitely a little old lady, and her hips get to hurt.
you have the peace of mind. Head to PolicyGenius.com/Midas or click the link in the description.
Need that a little bit better,
Free
teacher.
life insurance quotes see how much you can save.
Yeah, brother, you're back there.
policygenius.com/Midas. One more time.
You laying on the bed.
policygenius.com/Midas. Okay, real talk.
Sorry.
I love food, but I do not love meal planning. Every week I do my best, but often reality hits work, errands, exhaustion. Suddenly I'm eating leftovers for dinner again. But then I go on spoon and I am officially a meal prep person. I can announce it right now. Not because I really got my life together, but Spoon did it for me. This podcast is sponsored by Marley Spoon. I'm really excited about it because it's helping me find my way to eating well without all that stress. With our code Midas, M-I-D-A-S, you get 27 free meals. Here's what I love. Marley Spoon gives you over 100 recipes to choose from every week. We're talking everything. Cozy comfort food like beef stroganoff, like salmon and creamy mustard gill sauce, tray bake. There's literally something for every single mood. And my absolute favorite recently, their beef noodle soup with bok choy. Made it last night. I had that moment where I just stared at my plate like, man, it looked incredible, smelled amazing, and more importantly, tasted like something out of a restaurant. And the best part, Marley Spoon just launched their new 15-minute express recipes. Yep, dinner in 15 minutes. So even on nights when I'm feeling extra lazy, I have zero excuses. This is your fast track, your way to Marley Spoon. .com/offer/Midas. Midas for up to 27 free meals. You heard me right. Up to 27 free meals with Marley Spoon. One last time, that's marleyspoon.com/offer/Midas for up to 27 free meals. And make sure you put Midas in the IDAS so they know that I sent you.
Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in the description of audio and YouTube. Click the links. Use the codes. Let them know who sent you if there's an exit survey. It helps a lot. Marley Spoon A+. Policy Genius, really great. I mean, check it out. Absolutely. Benji, question for you. Where to next?
Where to next? A place never thought I would go before. I'm actually going to read a post from Dave Portnoy of Barstool. What? What's doing? This is what he said today. I'm going to be fair. These questions need to be asked today. What's the release of the Epstein list? What's the point of booting out illegals and criminals while somehow becoming a safe haven for the Tate brothers who are alleged to have engaged in sex trafficking, were arrested in Romania? They came back to the United States today, and there's been a lot of reporting that the Trump administration advocated for their return. Also, Donald Trump's top advisor, Alina Hoppe, like fangirled over Andrew Tate on a recent podcast and said how much she idolizes him, or looks up to him because he's great. He goes, "Why is crypto in the toilet? If Trump is the crypto king, Trump's literally the vice president of everything, but also for crypto. His whole thing was like crypto, like it's in the toilet right now. How far does Tesla stock have to crash before Elon goes back to work?" There's a lot of other questions to ask as well, which is, why is inflation surging again? Why hasn't the war in Ukraine been resolved in 24 hours, as Donald Trump promised? Why is it that they are gutting Medicaid? Why is it that Donald Trump said that he had nothing to do with Project 2025? And now Russ Vought, who's the author of it, is running the show and running everything. Why?
So is it Tate asking these questions? Is Tate coming to reality? Has the tater been taught? So early? Really? Huh.
Go on.
Yeah, this Epstein thing is honestly, it's obviously a dark subject matter, but the fact that they are in this situation right now, there's definitely a lot of humor to it. They are the dog that caught the car, and now they do not know what to do about it, because they've been hyping this up. It's like this is going to be like their Super Bowl, their Christmas, however you want to describe it. The release of the Epstein files. And by the way, Donald Trump was in power before. Nothing happened with the files then. Nothing's going to happen with the files now, anything substantial. And they've hyped up that there's this existence of these files, and in their mind there exists a list.
YouTube.
And the
Henson
list
Jackson
says something
has the
like
data tot. Rolling on the floor
pedophiles in
laughing.
Hollywood. And then you read down the list, and it's all your favorite Hollywood celebrities.
Oh, if you haven't figured out from my channel before, I have zero respect for Andrew Tate. That is not a man. That is not even an alpha. Unless you're talking about alpha in the sense of testing. And, okay, yeah. There have been several more efficient and better made tests of the male personality. There have been several, yeah. The latest I hear is Sigma. And apparently the ladies like him. But no, Andrew was spewing all kinds of hate, all kinds of bullshit for the longest time, and a lot of it was testosterone-driven bullshit. So I was just like, wait, has the tater been taught? Because for real, that's the way I always thought of him. I was like, yeah, it's tape taught. Kind of explains why it's got the following. Many people like tater tots. I didn't realize it came in that flavor, though.
And it's going to be the big, we got the Democrats, we got Hollywood, they're all on this one list. Look at it. The odd thing about this, to me, from the very beginning, is the obvious thing, which is, why would you make this your main cause when the guy you worship was quite literally Jeffrey Epstein's best friend? You don't have to believe me when I say that. Jeffrey Epstein said that Donald Trump viewed him as his best friend.
Yeah.
They hung out all the time in Mar-a-Lago. I know they like to say, they make up this whole story that actually Donald Trump banned him.
YouTube.
When he found out,
Henson Jackson.
actually,
I
Donald
think
Trump
some things Andrew says make sense, but most of it is egotistical BS.
break with that.
Most of it is
Okay?
egotistical BS.
But they've invented this whole.
Honestly, I haven't heard anything from him that I can actually agree with. But then again, the egotistical BS drove me off rather quickly. So, kind of makes sense.
Story where somehow Donald Trump has cleaned his hands of this, even though there's nobody who was ever closer to Jeffrey Epstein than Donald Trump, per all the reporting out there. And it goes beyond just even Donald Trump's name on these various lists and things like that. Like, you could go into Ben's Deep Dives, but all the modeling agencies, all the things that took place at Mar-a-Lago, there's a whole lot of actual evidence to behavior that may be worse than just a name on a list. But the lists that do exist are the lists that have been public for the past few years, if not over the past decade. There's his little black book, the Epstein little black book, and guess who's on Epstein's little black book? Donald Trump, and like 50 phone numbers. I'm exaggerating here, but it actually is like 11 phone numbers. Do I have the little black book here? I'll find it if I get here. It is right here. The little black book. I mean, that's a lot of contact information for one person, half of another big. If you're looking at this, there's a few 212 numbers,
There's
Florida numbers, another
half a page numbers under Donald Trump.
like another 5 New York numbers, another 3. There's a lot of numbers on this. Is my point. Melania's number, her name's spelled wrong. Trump's security, like he's got people like who.
Emergency. He's got the emergency
contact. He's got the emergency contact. Like
Okay.
I get a lot of people's phone numbers. I don't know if they're emergency contact and they're security. This is a close relationship.
Yeah, I was about to say, how many of us have our best friend's emergency contact numbers? Unless our best friends have no medical needs. And let's just be real on that one. And then we got a switch and break. I'm not sure who's lurking over there, if it's science or whatnot. Let's see. Okay, it is science, and if I remember correctly, science doesn't go to commercial.
By the way,
So
I'm going to say
probably
right
do
up front,
something else too.
just because a name is on this phone log doesn't mean that any bad behavior was done. For that, we'll go into Ben's deep dives on the Epstein stuff, and you'll see the more tangible stuff. But you want a list. Here is a literal list. It exists right here, right? The other literal list that exists, and this is the one that apparently Pam Bondi is planning on releasing, that these MAGA influencers have been holding up in this binder, was the phone records that I just showed you that Donald Trump's name on. By the way, when we actually see these, let's see if they keep Donald Trump's name on it or not. But there's also the flight logs. We need to see the flight logs. We need to see the flight logs. The flight logs were released in 2019. They were released as part of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, the federal trial. Signed affidavit. These are the official logs. We have them right here. Donald Trump is listed in these logs by name. He brought his kids on sometimes. He was often on it with Epstein himself. It's the name J.E. on his various logs. Donald Trump was on the flight logs seven times. So they were released in 2021, not 2019. And his name's all over. But yet,
It's not a good enough picture to really see that.
And they're like, what? That doesn't mean anything. What list are you looking for? The list you're looking for doesn't exist. These are the lists that actually exist. And then you have these White House influencers now going to the White House. And so you have people, and it's disgusting to see some of these people at the White House, holding up binders, holding up literal binders. Small binders, like this guy. Who is this? Is this Cernovich? I don't know. I'm upset that I know any of these people. But there are people like Libs of TikTok and Cernovich and, I don't know.
DC Drano.
DC Drano. Here's the DC Drano photo. And they're holding these things up. There's Libs of TikTok in this photo. And they're smiling and they're celebrating. And these binders say Phase 1, the Epstein files, the most transparent administration in history. It has a fake declassified marking. It's not a real declassified. It says it like it's printed on the thing. And they gave it to these 15 influencers. Apparently this is Phase 1 of the release, which is all this information that I just showed you. Like it's already public, apparently. And they're like smiling and celebrating, and it's just weird because, like I said in the beginning of this is disturbing stuff. Like this is evidence of somebody who raped children. I was trying to see if I could make it a little softer for this episode, but I want to be clear about what it is and not misleading.
What about it?
You really
they're
can't.
smiling
There's no making that.
with these binders as if, look what I got, look at this great thing. It's completely bizarre, not to mention the fact that the people who have accused the media of being regime propaganda.
I can't argue with him there. It is kind of bizarre. If I was handed something like that, knowing what it is, I don't think I'd be too happy. Because I would be needing to read through that so that way I could explain it all. And those are some nasty accounts that are going to be in there. I'm not sure I'd be able to stop myself from not just reading it on the stream and being pissed off, sort of shit. I certainly would not be happy about getting that information. I'd be grateful, but I wouldn't be happy. I think there's quite the difference there. Yeah, that is kind of odd. Somebody gives you documents that are supposed to be unclassified of, well, fucking sex offender island? Especially fucking Chomo Island? Come on, I wouldn't be happy about that. I don't think anyone would who actually has some kind of a head on their shoulders. Knowing that you're going to have to read over that and report it, yeah, I don't think you're going to be happy about that. Some might, I guess. Maybe if you were someone who hunted pedophiles, I guess then you might. Because at that point, you'd be getting a hunting list. So I guess I could kind of see that one. But how many of those people are actually out there? Actually go hunting for them. I don't know. That's an interesting psychological state. And I wouldn't be able to make any kind of evaluation like that on somebody. I just don't have the information or the tools.
Propagandists under Biden, this is literally the definition of regime propagandist. I mean, how do you ever recover from this? You holding your binders to try to cover for Donald Trump and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, because that's all this is about right now. And now you have these rifts forming because you have these MAGA people who are willing to do whatever Donald Trump wants, right? Then you have other MAGA people who view themselves as like pure blood MAGA. You know, like I am the real MAGA and I actually stand for my beliefs. And you know what? To their credit, some of these people actually stand by their beliefs as horrific as they are. Like a Laura Loomer, for example. Horrible person. She's pretty consistent, though, of being a horrible person. She wouldn't probably partake in a situation like this. So then you have a Laura Loomer getting angry now at these MAGA influencers, getting angry at the Trump administration. You have Pam Bondi saying that she was going to release all the Epstein files, but the FBI is not going to allow her to release all the Epstein files. You have the FBI going like, what are you talking about? They're all trying to blame each other, and now it's just MAGA is in chaos over this thing because the dog finally caught the car, and now they don't know what to do because they've hyped this moment up for so long as the moment that was going to take down the deep state and the Democrats and liberal Hollywood. And guess what? The only person's name who keeps coming up on these lists is Donald J. Trump.
Seriously? There's no other Democrats or well-known Republicans? I've got a little bit of a problem with thinking that's accurate. Or maybe that's just the parts that have been declassified. I don't fucking know. But
YouTube, Hinson Jackson, are you against law enforcement?
I am not against law enforcement. I am against cops abusing their power. I know several cops that do not abuse their power and absolutely support and love having them in my community. But if you're going to sit there and trample on people's basic rights and civil rights, you need to find a different job. I did do a full thing about the way I see law enforcement. I don't agree with any cop that wants to go on a power trip or wants to try to bend the rules to imprison citizens. I'm not okay with that whatsoever.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson, get some contacts, bro. Glasses are too rough to keep up with. I wear contacts.
I can't do contacts. I cannot do contacts. For real. No. I don't like things near my eyes. My glasses can bother me at times, and that's why you'll constantly catch me adjusting them. It's because I'll be able to see too much of the frame and it'll bother me. Yeah, my eyes are getting a little antsy just thinking about having something heading towards them. That's the other thing. I don't want to lose my eye shield. These things have saved me from taking so much shit to the eyes, it's ridiculous. And don't forget your safety glasses. Let's go. For real, there was a few times.
Hinson Jackson. Oh, okay, got it.
There really was a few times where it was just, let's go. I even had my shop teacher look at me and go, wow, those are actually perfectly formed for your face. Your eyes are properly protected. Okay, let's go. There's the saw. Get to it. Oh, that was some fun shit. I'm gonna leave a couple minutes, or a minute and a half for YouTube response because of delay. Yeah, if that stimulus check is real,
YouTube. Hinson Jackson. I took woodshop in high school lol. I wasn't too much of a fan.
I wasn't exactly a fan. I was just already well skilled. Let me put it to you this way. You know how you're not supposed to cut a curve on a bandsaw? Unless you know what you're doing? Day one, the shop teacher said, nobody cuts curves uses the bandsaw to cut a curve. Straight cuts only. I was already on the bandsaw making a curve cut, and he came over and was like, kind of looked over his glasses, just like, damn. He's like, that's gotta be the smoothest curve cut I've ever seen on a bandsaw. I said, I kind of know what I'm doing. He's like, yeah, you do. You're good. If you want to do that, go ahead. You have my permission. And I was just like, damn. And then he also saw me use a couple of tools in a little bit different light. Like using the sander to take about that much off of a chunk of one of the pieces I had, instead of just going over to the sawed. He asked me why I did it that way, and I said, because I wasn't particularly sure if I had my measurement right, and I wanted to be able to test it bit by bit. The best way I could do that, turn the end to dust. Slowly but surely, I will get down to where I want to be, and I can get this right where I want it. He's like, okay, I want to see this. So I had to do one more piece. It was a support piece for stool legs. So I did it with the other piece. Didn't mark it, didn't measure it. Had the stool over there with me, but kind of give it an eyeball. Not that much that I still needed to go. Right in the spot. Freaking couple of tack nails and done. I ended up doing that same technique with a couple of pieces of sawhorses I made too. Come get some water, Boo. Get some water. Yeah, get it. Yeah, that's one of the places where I was basically just allowed to be myself. We were told no making paddles or anything like that. One of the first things I made was a paddle. Of course, I made it as an art piece, not a apparatus for smacking things. So I did make it kind of look like it was for it. And he even ended up asking me why it was in a kind of wavy curved pattern. Because instead of being straight, it was quite literally curved. Dipped down and came back up. Give a nice S shape. And I told him, it's not for use. It's as a wall decoration. I said, if it was for use, that would be the biggest mistake I could have done other than putting the holes in it. And he just looks at me like, damn, you do have no idea what you're doing.
Hinson Jackson. I remember me and 3 of my friends got called by school security smoking at the park during lunch. All got taken to the Greenwich Pal's office so she could call our parents.
Mm-hmm.
She had McDonald's she was eating.
Busted!
YouTube. Hinson Jackson. When she left the office, we all grabbed some of her fries LMAO.
Oh, that's great. And because there's typically not a camera in that office, she couldn't prove it. Oh, shit. That's great. Who's happy? You guys bought it. You must
Just
like
like
the
that
badge.
does exist, though. What does exist is millions of records from the Department of Justice investigation. Witness statement. I'll give you an example of what exists that hasn't been released. That if you were to release all of the files, would be released. There was a 14-year-old girl. She testified at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. as a
YouTube. Hinson Jackson. It was hilarious. We were high eating the principal's lunch, bro, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
Was because a lot of it was under seal and was classified, but we know that it took place.
You bunch of stoner bullies. Bullying your principal. How dare you? Good job.
Because we're aware of Jane Doe, Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what was reported, right? So just for that one victim, for example, I'm sure there are pages of witness statements from police officers and investigators about what she told them happened. And then with all of the victims, there are police reports, phone logs, records, statements, photographs, all of that, right? And that file, from my experience as a lawyer who dealt with big document production cases, I think you probably have terabytes of data that's out there. Now, if they claim they're Doge efficient, they should have been able to go through those terabytes of data.
Hinson Jackson.
And if
I
they
had
have
to
to
have it at
redact
school.
the name
My dad was
of
pissed off.
victim, I get that. But the people who are being accused,
It
that's
is
the type
not
of stuff
time.
that I
Go lay
would
down.
assume that they would want released. That's what they're asking for, right? So there's, to your point, Brett, the only lists that exist list Trump's name on it, phone logs, flight logs, right? But in terms of the data, I know, for example, that there was depositions released in part of these cases and Trump's names on the depots. And that have been public, where one of the victims that Epstein trafficked talked about Epstein calling Trump from the jet, or before they went to the jet, to go to a casino with her where they needed to reroute their flight. So, that information's out there, and the question is, why don't they want to release it? And again, you have MAGA Republican Anna Paulina Luna. She posts, that's not the information that we asked for. Turn it over. I want to pivot and talk about the relationship between Andrew Tate and all of this with Andrew Tate, who was accused of sexual.
Sorry, give me a second. I'm having a little bit of an anxiety attack. You ate it, doofus. Loki, stop. No, for real. Dublin, stop. Don't you go swatting that dog. Don't you swat at Loki, young lady. Boy. All right. Ugh. Good, buddy. By the way, for those of you wondering about, I don't know, off topic, but the line from the song RX by Theory of a Dead Man, where it says, someone you trust can't help you breathe. Exactly what they're talking about. This can help me breathe. Take a rip when I'm having an anxiety attack and treat it proper. Anxiety calms down and I can get back to doing. I can breathe again. As to where, when the anxiety attack is going, it's a little bit difficult. Loki, lay down. You need to stop being an ass. You already pottied inside the trailer this morning. And it's not been that long. We were up at 7. It is just barely now working on 9 o'clock. At about 7:30, you decided you were going to be a butt and pee inside the trailer. On your bed at that. Well, I should say the one you claimed. It's going to be freaking hell getting that taken care of.
Trafficking in Romania, returning now to the United States. But Jordy, let me have you comment first on
I just wanted to say this, like, if they're, and I don't want to be that, but in this situation, if you were to Google Joe Biden, Jeffrey Epstein, just put, in the chat, how many photos pop up of Joe Biden standing next to Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, you can't find any. Okay, same question. Now for the chat, for the listeners, Google Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, you can find me.
The photos go on and on and on. For our audio listeners, Brett just put one up. Trump's arms totally all around Epstein. They're having what seems to be a very happy, cordial conversation between the two. God knows what they're talking about right there. The video of that moment, if you look at it, is repulsive. Trump is doing like a weird like dance move thing where he's bobbing his head. The whole thing is really off.
Licking his lips.
He's grinning his lips. It is disgusting. Like, absolutely disgusting. But here's one more for you. Jeffrey Epstein's own brother has come out and said that Jeff stopped hanging out with Donald Trump when he realized that Trump was a crook. Imagine being too dirty and too crooked for Jeffrey frickin' Epstein, man.
By the way, I totally buy that it was Epstein that cut off the friendship.
So do I. Honestly, so do I.
Before you go on, Tate, I want to say one more thing also, which is this. I see all these MAGA people online saying, why don't the Democrats, why don't anybody who's not MAGA, why don't people say release the Epstein list? It's because they're scared that they're on it, or their friends are on it, or their whatever politicians are on it, celebrities. We've been saying it all the frickin' time. Release the list. We don't give a shit. Release it. Release it.
We've been saying release the list since we knew the list existed. And that's not a joke. That is just 100% legit shit. There has been calls for that list's release since its acknowledgement of existence. Before it was evaluated. And the left's out here calling out for it to be non-redacted. Nope, not to be put down as classified.
Henson Jackson. Loki probably wants to use the bathroom, bro. Take him out, lol.
He's laying down being good now. He's quite literally being a butt because he wants to be boss. It's his breed. No. He has a schedule. He's got about another 30 minutes. He's just not happy that he's back there and all the stinky that he keeps making because he wants to be spiteful. He really is quite the brat. When he wants to be, he is quite the brat.
YouTube. Henson Jackson. Lol.
Yeah, no. The reason why we don't typically stop at 9:30 so I can take him out is because he's usually already done it in the trailer. Because I stepped out without him. Can't exactly go out with nothing to go. Yeah, he's chilling back there getting ready to pass out. Big flitter. And then we got...
In the list that exists, your guy's on it, and we don't care who is on the list. We'll acknowledge it. I don't know why you can't acknowledge the reality that Donald Trump is the one who constantly shows up and had this very deep, close, and personal relationship with the guy.
Donald Trump's top advisor is Alina Habba. She was his former lawyer who lost most of the cases that he was in and pretended that she won. She was sanctioned $1 million+ for filing frivolous lawsuits in federal court. Here she is, months back, I believe, with Andrew Tate, who was accused of sex trafficking in Romania. And Alina Habba sees him, and she is starstruck. It's like she saw, the most famous person, the most beloved person. Just watch for yourself.
Hi.
Hello, Alina.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm a fan. You're the one saving Trump. You're doing more important work than me.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said. And I think that your anger is the same that President Trump has for our country. And the time is now for us to stop being wimps. I think that's exactly the
Now let me show you. I'm going to show you a clip of Andrew Tate in his own words. Just, you can follow his own words. This is what he says, what his main line of business is, in his own words here.
Were you born between 1980
Oh, come on,
and 1989?
YouTube.
If so, you can get $250 to spend at McDonald's completely free. And I can tell you right now,
Multi. I did this by creating a webcam studio, by taking girls who didn't know how to be effective with webcam, girls who had never done webcam before, girls who didn't have the equipment, didn't have the know-how, didn't have the will, didn't have the premises, didn't have the ability to make money when this exchange. I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income, allowed me to make sure they were effective, because it's a super competitive industry. Don't think this is easy money. You're just going to put a girl on camera. You rich shit way. No. It's very competitive. It's very difficult. I learned every tip and trick it takes to make sure a girl gets paid. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away. Because once you teach a girl how to do this, she has the ability to make unlimited money from home. Why would she still give it to you? Why would she just run off and keep it all for herself? Why are you giving her a percentage? I learned how to do everything. To take a nobody and make her somebody. I learned how to take nothing, turn her into a cat. Babies from all across the world would be sending money.
Motherfucker, you a POS pimp. For real. You make me sick.
Her mind. This is what webcam is.
Okay, now we learned that the Trump administration, when they were in Munich attacking Europe, sorry, it's hard to even watch that sometimes, when the administration was in Munich security.
You don't tell me, Ben, I'm nauseous. Jeez.
Yeah, sorry for slow mode and shit. Wanted you to get sleep and not deal with trolls.
That's why.
Plus you got a follow out of it, LMAO.
Nice. Yeah, I turn the sound down so that way it doesn't wake me. I got smarter, baby. Yeah, otherwise, I'm stirring and turning over and catching something being said. Yeah, I don't have any problem with slow mode, just not sub or follow only. Please. That's still pretty big rule for me. Besides the not liking to do it, I am far too small to be doing something like that. Though, it was copyrighted, so maybe it wasn't such a bad thing you did. Again, thank you for doing you, science. And don't take that as chastisement. It's not meant to be. I apologize if we came across that way. I'm still a little nauseous from listening to what Tate was saying. I'm nauseous. I'm a little disturbed by it. Because that's quite literally viewing the opposite sex as property. And it's just not acceptable. I knew I didn't like him for doing sex trafficking shit. I didn't know how deep that shit was. Fuck. Didn't realize it was that much of his fucking worldview. Alright, let's continue on.
Conference attacking Europe. Someone from the Trump administration approached the Romanian foreign minister about releasing some of the restrictions on Tate from leaving Romania. Andrew Tate, who faces rape trafficking charges in Romania, has left for the U.S. He was believed to be going to Florida. Even DeSantis was like, I just found out about this from the media. He can't come to Florida. I don't know what the hell this is about. I'm pissed off. Of course, Donald Trump is like denying, I don't know much about what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. But when they talk about like the manosphere podcasts and that bullshit, like they're talking about people like that. And let me be very clear. We may be beating the manosphere podcast, but we wholeheartedly reject any of that disgusting filth and crap. That's not how you need to be a good podcast. It's not what you need to do to get ratings. That's what you need to be, a trash, disgusting, despicable human being. And just condemn that in the strongest of terms. When we come back, I want to show you some of the headlines from this past 24 to 48 hours. We'll go through that. I want to show you what's been going on in Congress a little bit as well. I want to remind you, if you want to meet Brett, Jordy, and myself, now would be the time to sign up at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MEIDASTOUCH. Also check out MeidasPlus.com. Just make sure you spell Meidas correctly. It's MEIDASPLUS.com. MeidasPlus.com. Check that out. I'll make sure you subscribe as well. We'll try to get to 500 subscribers. We'll be right back after.
Ever walk into a store and just stare at the wall of the wine like it's some kind of cryptic puzzle?
That way you guys don't have to hear the ads quite as bad.
I'm guessing and started getting my wine from Naked Wines. The best independent winemakers deliver right to my door. This podcast is sponsored by Naked Wines. It's 2025. You still shop for wine like it's 2005? Well, time to upgrade. Naked Wines connects you directly to world-class independent winemakers so you can get award-winning bottles delivered straight to your door without the massive retail markup. I recently enjoyed a bottle of the Matt Parrish Napa Valley Cabernet, and let me tell you, it was incredible. I love cracking open a bottle, putting my phone away, and actually enjoying the moment with friends and family. Here's how it works. Naked Wines cuts out the middleman, letting winemakers pass the savings on to you. So you get top-tier wine at up to 60% off store prices. No gimmicks, no memberships, just the basic wine.
I was happy that Tate was locked up over there.
Now is the time to join the Naked Wines.
I was hoping that
nakedwines.com.
they wouldn't give him back.
That's MEIDAS.
Just gonna be real.
And password to get 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 shipping. That's $100 off the first 6 bottles. That's nakedwines.com/Meidas. Use code Meidas for both the code and the password. It's 6 bottles. It's 2025.
Yeah, that's honestly what the more intelligent side of the country thinks of Tate. He is everything that is bad. I don't like to skip their sponsor commercials for the simple fact of I am viewing it. I do intend to still give thumbs up and shit as a viewer. Because, well, these guys do the job.
This was me struggling to keep up with
Oh, YouTube.
Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors, Pro Democracy sponsors. I want to say, since Ben did that read, which is a brand new read, by the way, for anyone listening,
I noticed.
Ben has now the 3-day blinds behind him. So sorry to Ben's neighbor who loves watching the show, but those blinds look incredible, B. So that's awesome. Shout out 3-day blinds. Shout out our sponsors. Links in the description of audio and YouTube. Please click on them and use the codes. And if there's an exit survey, please let them know the Midas Touch Brother sent you.
I had the 3-day blinds all throughout the house, but just not right there. And my neighbor, she's got that great green fence that you may have seen, and she loved her green fence in the videos. And so when the 3-day blind, she goes, I love your blind. She goes, but are you mad at me? Did I do something? I go, no, why would you say that? I'm not mad at you. And she was in the civil rights movements in the 70s. And she goes, are you mad at me? I said, absolutely not. I just got the blind.
that makes sense.
That's why. So anyway, shout out.
For those who don't know about some of these civil rights movements in the 70s, if you were mad at your neighbor for some reason of belief difference or whatnot, if there was some reason you were actually mad at your neighbor, you would close your blinds on that side of the house. So, if she was from the 70s civil rights movements, I can kind of understand why she'd be asking if you were mad. As in angry. But that is also at the same time very, very cute. Great kind of shit.
Shout out to 3-day blinds. No shout out to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, I'll show you this. This is what she was saying in Congress yesterday, 2 days ago, earlier this week, whenever. It's all the same with her. I mean, this is what MAGA Republicans are going with. It's not just her. This is what they're saying. They're saying that these hardworking federal employees who are being fired, and 30% of federal workers are like veterans as well. And then there's a whole other group that are spouses of veterans, or spouses of people
big
in
topic
recently. They
recently.
go from base to base.
Pissed me off.
The spouse will technically be a probationary employee because when you start a new job, even if you accrue experience, that technically makes you probationary. Listen to what she says about just federal workers in general.
You can protest all you want outside of departments of this government. You can protest all you want, but the American people disagree with you. You're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. By the way, they're consuming taxpayer dollars. Those jobs are paid for by the American tax people who work real jobs, earn real income, pay federal taxes, and then pay these federal employees. Federal employees do not deserve...
This is another person do not leave me alone in the same room with this person. The outcome is not good. Federal paid employees who do federal jobs are not lazy. And they do quite a lot. The people she's bitching about includes the civilian employees at our military bases. And let me tell ya, we need those fuckers. Anyone who has been in that position knows that that is actually a statement of endearment, not insult. But no, we need those guys. Those are the guys that take care of the military scrapyard, the fucking paperwork, all the stuff that makes the military run. That isn't a commissioned or non-commissioned officer. That's what thoughts are doing. Okay. So, yeah, I kind of, from many standpoints go, excuse me, Miss Green? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yes, these are roles that are paid for by taxpayer money because that's why they were put in place. These jobs were meant to make it to where the government was as much a part of the people as the people are part of the government. It's not supposed to be a completely separate scenario. The government's supposed to understand the people. And the people are supposed to be able to understand the government. That's part of how clear communication works. Right. Yeah, no.
Their jobs. Federal employees do not deserve their paychecks. And these are jobs that can be fired at will.
She's literally the stupidest person ever. I mean,
Oh my god.
She is despicable. But she's also really stupid, like Marjorie. You're a federal employee. Like, she literally is a federal...
You're talking about yourself, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's who you're talking about. Because the federal employees, I know, the federal workers are super hardworking people who go to work every single day, live a middle-class lifestyle, often are able to do things in the private sector, but choose to give service to their country.
Yeah.
By the way, yes, they do pay taxes, and they do pay taxes back to the government from their salaries, and the government is not a business. It's not a profit-making function, despite what you and the other Republicans want it to be. Things need to run. Services need to be provided to people. And when did it become okay for politicians to speak down to working Americans like that? It is so, I guess with Trump, but it's so incredibly appalling to me, and it really, really disgusts me on a gut level. And this, you're telling me this is the party that is claiming the mantle of populism? This is the party that's claiming the mantle of for the working people? And you're saying that to people who are hard workers, going every single day to difficult jobs, and you tell them their jobs don't mean crap? Honestly, screw her. That's
1,000%, Brett. When did it become okay to talk like this to anybody? This behavior wouldn't be acceptable in the high school, let alone within our government. It is just so deranged and upsetting and appalling. And I'll tell you when, quite frankly, it's Trump, yes. But now all these MAGA Republicans sticking their chests out, walking strong. They got Big Daddy Elon over there, Elon the oligarch, right? They're ready. They got Elon, man. They got all this money. They can talk down to you, American worker. They can talk down to you, working class folk. They don't give a damn about you. They got Trump. They're going to go to Mar-a-Lago. They're going to kick it there, eat their lobster. They're laughing at you.
the people that voted for you, they're laughing at you and in your face.
Well, look, I mean, to your point, Jordy, you have MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House here. He's speaking, and he's like, we really actually came up with something very incredible. So we put Elon in with his algorithms because in Congress, we couldn't do our jobs. So you see, Elon now has the algorithms that sift through all of your data, and it's actually a quite revolutionary concept that we have going on here. I mean, like, do you realize what you're saying, MAGA Mike Johnson? Like, I'm going to show you this clip, and I'll comment on it, but just watch it.
And the Congress, we can have oversight. The problem is, for decades, as we know, we haven't been able to do that job well. Because even though we requested the data, requested the insight, it was hidden. How many of you know the bureaucracy was not forthcoming, right? They're not transparent. That's the whole point. That's the problem. That's the deep state we talk about. So they were hiding from Congress. We didn't know that USAID was funding drag shows in Peru or whatever, transgender operas in Colombia or whatever, It's madness. But Elon has cracked the code. He is now inside the agencies. He's created these algorithms that are constantly crawling through the data. And as he told me in his office, the data doesn't lie. We're going to be able to get the information. We're going to be able to transform the way the federal government works at the end of this. And that is a very exciting prospect. It is truly a revolutionary moment for the nation.
Do you want hot Asian girls knocking at your door? Then you
I
gotta
want
download
you to not
Tantan.
play
Freeze one.
that
It's a very exciting prospect. It is truly a revolutionary moment for the nation.
If revolutionary, you mean creating a tech dictatorship to overthrow checks and
Never mind the fact the security risks of doing that kind of shit. Elon's systems have been proven to be hackable many times over. As a matter of fact, I've known a few that have said his systems are a little too easy to hack. They took one look at it and said, really? This isn't even worth my time. They're still trying to learn. Yeah, that is a huge security risk. Especially through an AI.
balances, and then to use Stalinist tactics to lie about fraud, to attack political enemies, while getting rid of key functions that have literally destroyed our government, making people less safe. I guess that's one word, revolutionary. But literally your job as a Congress member is oversight, not to give your job to a billionaire oligarch to put algorithms into our data and hand over our data and then not call the individual to testify before Congress. I mean, these are literally the most pathetic people, and it gets more pathetic. I mean, you've got a MAGA Republican Congress member, Joe Wilson, introducing the $250 bill legislation to put Trump's face on a $250 bill because he says the most valuable president means the most valuable currency. And then I'll just show you this image one more time. Brett, pull up that photo of Donald Trump with the rendering without the makeup on, so we can just take a look at this. Because I think about because look,
stop it.
I mean, just imagine, it's like whatever, late at night in the morning, you've got the guy on my right hand side, like on his phone. Let me reenact it for you. Right, show me now. He's on the phone.
Thank you.
And he's looking at it. He's like, what should I post? Trump Gaza. I'm gonna post Trump Gaza. Look, let's do AI. Look, Elon, look, it's me in Gaza. Here, pull up some of these photos if we've got them. This is a video that Donald Trump posted. First image is him and women not really wearing a lot of clothes, dancing. Then him and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Not his wife, by the way.
His wife. Him and Benjamin Netanyahu. I guess post genocide on a Gaza beach with Trump hotels. Then the third photo is, what do we got there? Men with bathing suits and big cleavage in bathing suits on the beach with beards and long hair. Is that what we're looking at?
I'm sure Lips of TikTok is all over that one.
I'm sure they're all over.
Mhm.
And then a gigantic gold statue, and then Elon Musk throwing money in the air. I guess the Palestinians for Trump and the Muslims for Trump. I don't know. Here's you're distracting from though, Brett. I want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be right back. I need to walk a pup. As far as I am aware, he still has not potty back there, so it is potty time. And then I need to take myself downstairs from the fields of things. I'm just hoping I can get him walked first. Fucking booger. If I step out that door without him, he will potty back there. You can chill. You can chill. You're not going anywhere. And you can throw a fit about it all day. Perfectly alright with that, please. You stay in there, young lady. You come out of there, you're going to get in trouble.
No.
Yeah, you knew what was going on. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Looks like it. Alright, come on. Come here. Hey. Right here. When I say here, I mean here, not 3 feet ahead of me. I know. And you're a good boy. But you are in trouble. I told you not to come out from your blankies, or you're going to be in trouble. Guess what? You're in trouble. You young man, myself.
Also, I finally found a spot to make my base, so it'll slowly be moving out of the starter farm area.
I have to go pee. But my body says it is no longer ready to go. Number 2. Which is always something. No, I will have to wait. You act like you've been beat up. Would like to tap you on the top of the head with my finger. You're sensitive, puppy, you. Keep cool for you. Arctic fluff. Okay. Okay.
I want to show that you have to show that these people are, this is not normal behavior. But then I think you have to quickly pivot to saying, what are they distracted from, Brendan?
YouTube,
the
Instant
destruction
Jackson.
of the economy.
What's going on?
100%.
At the moment, getting back from taking Loki out. Khaleesi didn't listen and stay in her blanket. She was out of it and sitting next to it, dancing when I came back in. It's like, girl, you know better. You didn't listen. But she's sensitive. So she's like, eh. One sensitive one. One sensitive one. Yeah. So she's kind of being a big baby. That's that on top of the fact that she's not got her mom over. Nothing really bad going on with this. I just can't go poop. But that's the crappy thing about having a pup that likes to sit there and do spite potties. And you have IBS. He's like, I'm not listening. So, in a little bit, my guts will probably get pissy again, and I'll go down and use the bathroom.
I just want to add as well that it's something I'm going to reiterate on the show quite a bit. That is, you could say all the things in the world, right? You could try to create your own reality, but reality will always catch up. Caught up to Donald Trump in his last administration with COVID, when he tried to create his own reality around that. It didn't work. We already are seeing that happen to the Trump administration right now across the board, and the economy is no different. Let me break down the economy, but first, I got to do this as part of everybody's favorite segment on the Midas Touch podcast.
This is the NetSuite by Oracle Know Your Numbers Minute.
You can save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Whoa! Very funny, Mimo. Doesn't even look like me.
¿Por qué comprar un pulverizador de pintura caro cuando puedes conseguir uno más barato y mejor en Texas?
Welcome to the NetSuite by Oracle Know Your Numbers Minute, people. We break down the latest data that we are receiving today. So we got the new unemployment claims from last week, rising much higher than anticipated. I know a lot of you are pretty high because Trump is firing quite literally everybody, but this is higher. They do it based on the economists' predictions, and this is even higher than that. So there were an estimated 242,000 claims filed, jobless claims filed last week, which is 22,000 more than the previous week. So we are seeing a pretty steep increase across the weeks right now. And all this unemployment that Trump is causing in D.C. and Virginia and across the country, that's going to lag a little bit also. And then when this catches up, I think the unemployment numbers are going to start looking really bad once we start seeing these monthly jobs reports in like April, May, and things like that. By the way, first off, the expectation was 220,000. We had 242,000 jobless claims. Just want to be clear about that. And you can use NetSuite to stay on top of all the economic indicators. NetSuite provides easy access to economic data and trends through their integrated analytics so that you're always up to date. And this news comes as Donald Trump continues to purge these federal employees, implement these tariffs, threaten these major American industries. As you can see, everything's kind of in upheaval now. And there's a whole lot of instability. Speaking of tariffs were back in the news today. Trump announced earlier that those previously postponed tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada will now take effect on March 4th, 2025. We'll see if those tariffs end up happening again or not, like the last time. Tariffs are set to be 25% on imports from Canada and Mexico, with
with an additional 10% tariff on China. I should mention, now that we're talking about international, if you have a business that does work globally, NetSuite is tailored to various trade regulations, standards, all that sort of stuff to make sure it was compliant and on top of everything. Trump continues to blame the flow of fentanyl for the tariffs, even like in places like Canada. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's I think there's more fentanyl that flows from the U.S. to Canada than from the Canada. There's no fentanyl that goes from Canada to the U.S. So just a fake excuse. Like I said, they use these kind of con games constantly in order to try to push forward these policies. Trump also says these reciprocal tariffs are going to take effect on April 2nd. That could affect products from the entire world. And the things that Trump is claiming need reciprocal tariffs are things like value-added taxes, VATs, which are not that at all and don't actually affect exports to other countries. Once again, like a lot of made-up things. As previously mentioned, these tariffs could upend American industries. We just heard this week from the CEO of Alcoa, that's the nation's leading U.S. aluminum producer, and he said that Trump's tariffs on aluminum could destroy 100,000 American jobs while not even providing an incentive to change aluminum production in the United States. So you're getting all the bad stuff without any of the good stuff that he's going to say. He even said at a conference, the CEO of Alcoa, I'm not saying this is a liberal organization, Alcoa, the leading U.S. aluminum producer, he said, quote, at a recent conference, it's bad for the U.S. So, we're going to stay on top of all the economic updates here at the Midas Touch Network, week by week, month by month, day by day, making sure that you're getting all the data and everything that is going on. And so I'll be back soon with another segment. We'll stay on top of it. That was the NetSuite by Oracle Know Your Numbers Minute. Do you know your own numbers for your business? Download NetSuite's ultimate KPI checklist right now at netsuite.com/Midas.
Let me give us some legal news right now. According to ABC News, newly installed FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly proposed establishing a key partnership between the FBI and the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC, whose CEO Dana White is a major donor, to develop programs to train the FBI agents, integrating UFC into the FBI. Other important legal news I want to mention as well. A federal judge in California earlier today ordered OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, to rescind memos calling for the mass termination of probationary employees, saying the agency overstepped its legal authority and must inform other agencies that lack the authority to issue such a directive. The judge said he can't stop agencies from terminating those employees on their own, but they cannot be ordered by OPM to do so. The judge wants OPM boss Charles Ezel to testify under oath next month about his agency's, about the termination. So that could be a big deal if these probationary employees are now given all of this back pay and then are allowed to return back to the government. Then what's going to happen? Do they fire them again? We're talking about massive damages, massive wrongful termination lawsuits that can be filed. By the way, shout out to Michael Popak, who started his own law firm, the Popak Law Firm. I think you can Google the Popak Law Firm. Maybe we'll drop it in the description as well. But he's been handling a lot of big kind of catastrophic injury cases, wrongful termination cases. He's representing victims' family from the plane crash over D.C. And so he's handling cases like that. I know a lot of Midas Mighty were reaching out to Popak. We'll post his link in the description. I'm proud of him for starting his own law firm. I digress there. But also earlier in the day, a judge ordered separate judge ordered the Trump administration officials and at least one DOJ staffer to sit for depositions in a lawsuit over the group's access to sensitive government systems. Judge Bates, who's a George W. Bush appointee, called DOJ's activities, quote, opaque. So that's your legal update brought to you by
and legal AF. I should say legal offer.
What'd you say?
I said Bill Popak for that one. On a totally separate note, though, I did just kind of want to, because I know we're coming close to the end of the show, and I just wanted to say this. Look,
good for commercial placement.
Dems in Congress, just Dems in politics across America. We need you to show up, and some of y'all are. like doing incredible, like Rep. Jasmine Crockett. I see her all the time. She's doing it right. She's getting the message out there. We need fighters, more fighters like her. You know, we have the expression on the Midas Touch podcast. ABC always be campaigning. Look, the Democratic Party, it's truly the party for the American people. Their policies, it all backs that up. But if you're not an effective communicator, and you're not effectively communicating your messages where these voters are at all times, you know, you just may as well be screaming into the void. What are you scared about? Are you scared about some trolls on the internet that are going to be mean to you? You know, for what? For fighting for democracy and not kissing the feet of an oligarch or a guy that wears orange makeup? You know, I see some fight. I need to see more fight, though, out of our Dem leaders. And I know they can get there because we have some rock star talent, especially the younger ones. There you have it there, Jordy. I want to thank all the members of the Midas Mighty because, you know, one of the things that I think is important to note about this show and this network is, look, it's great when they're like, oh, the Midas Touch podcast is beating Joe Rogan, but to me, it's not an individualistic achievement. It's an achievement for this community, and this community's been growing organically, step by step, and really, it's a testament to the strength of the Midas Mighty. So, thank you to all of you. Thank you to the people for beating the oligarchs. Thank you to the people for pushing back on those, whatever they call them, the manosphere podcasts or whatever. I mean, we could win with the truth, with passion, with joy. And we can be hard-hitting about it, too, and we can have fun about it like we like to do here on the network. But let's be grounded in making our country and our world actually better and helping people, not hurting people. And some of the core messages that we have here on this show. And so thank you to all of you. Make sure you subscribe on audio and the YouTube channel. Let's grow all of this together. Patreon.com/Midas Touch if you want to meet Jordy, Brett, and myself at our next meeting. We do a few meetings every month on Patreon. And there's MidasPlus.com. By the way, the jingle at the end of the show, that's sung by Tennessee Brandos on the Midas Touch network.
Yes, it is sung by him. He is part of the network. But unless it is his video you're watching, it is not or part of the scenario. Okay. Looks like we got one more before up to date today, or two today. Then we got today's, which seems to be
Donald Trump and Cody this again. We've got false entries on Elon Musk Doge ego wall of receipts. You know, that very justification for Doge and cost cutting to exist. We're saving billions of dollars, Donald Trump says, like he's an infomercial huckster. Billions of dollars, you're going to get a dividend, a Doge dividend. I don't think so, because they're claiming $65 billion in savings in just 5 weeks. It's really closer to $9 billion, and it's probably less than that. Now, 5 major fraudulently entered numbers have been taken off the wall of receipts because the media has gotten all over it, and I'm all over it right here on the Midas Touch Network and Legal AF. Elon Musk runs around
Vincent Jackson, cheeky went home already.
no. She just kind of hiding. Kind of. Not really, but kind of. Yeah, he was talking about you. Like, no, I's here. Like, how'd you know I's here?
And so much money. Yeah, he's not. Let me give you the 5 major categories that have come off the board already because of close inspection. Immigration, Customs and Enforcement, ICE, you know, the group that's supposedly leading Donald
YouTube,
Trump's...
Hinson Jackson, oh dang lol, didn't see her.
She's good about that. She's very good about blending in. Oh, little girl. is for my baby girl is having a good time with the string. Gotcha, Dub. Say, Dad. Did I make a key jump? Did I make a key jump? Oh. She wants that.
Deportation charge, putting people in prisons and in raiding churches and schools. Somehow they think there's going to be a savings of what they listed originally as $8 billion with a B dollars. Turns out somebody fat fingered it. It was really $8 million. You know, just a typo among friends. So that was ICE. Now let's go to USA. You know, that arm of diplomacy that we automatically overnight turned off the spigot to, putting hundreds of millions of people into despair and in a very inhumane way, cutting off aid to people in foreign countries. Again, an arm of our diplomacy. That was listed at $655 million 3 separate times for close to $2 billion. Now it's listed at $18 million. That's a big difference. Social Security. Everybody wants to talk about Social Security cuts, and they listed them on the wall of receipts at $232 million. Sounds like quite a hefty cut. Turns out it's really only $560,000 because he killed a software contract about gender identity. So $232,560,000, $655 million 3 times, really 18 million total, and ICE $8 billion down to $8 billion. When you do all of that, one last month, Treasury Department, they listed it on the wall of receipts, taking responsibility for it at $1.9 billion in savings. Sounds pretty hefty. Yeah, except it happened during the Biden administration, had nothing to do with Elon Musk. So when you take off all of these numbers, the amount of quote-unquote savings plummets from $65 billion to, like $9 billion. And even that, I think, is fudged. Why is it important? Because this administration, led by felon-in-chief, liar-in-chief, somebody who is a dissembler, who won't look, what's the old joke? How do you know when President Trump is lying? His mouth his lips are moving when he talks. You can't trust them at all. And they use these fake facts, this false narrative, these forged
YouTube,
numbers.
Hinson Jackson. You're probably going to need a nap today, bro. You woke up early.
Yeah, I woke up early to get this girl. Probably will need a nap at some point. But I don't know when yet. Or for sure. Probably be after this stream due to being not sure I necessarily want to do at the time. Probably throw the server, no, I've got the server up for science right now, so I wouldn't have to do that. Yeah. Cross that bridge when I get there.
To justify their existence and to justify policy. We need to do X because Y happened. But Y didn't really happen at all. It's a phony Y. And therefore, we are misled to believe that these things are necessary to occur because something bad has happened. They found fraud. They found waste. They were sending condoms to Gaza. All of the lies. Hollywood stars are going on tours on our expense. Luxury hotels in New York are being used for the migrant crisis. All of it phony. All of it false. But the Trump administration knows no boundaries when it comes to fake information and lying. There's no other way to put it. And then right on cue, Carolyn Levin, the world's youngest press secretary, she'll get up and say, well, it may not be exactly 65 billion, but millions have been saved. And the difference is only 9 billion has been saved, and even that is in quite a dispute. And it's not the 65 billion that you said happened in that amount of time. We're never going to see a Doge dividend. Donald Trump announced today a new green card to replace a new gold card for immigration to replace the green card, or to replace a program we already have, which is an entrepreneurial visa or an e-visa, which allows people to invest $1 million or up to $800,000 in rural areas and obtain a path to citizenship. We've always had an E or entrepreneurial visa, but now Donald Trump announces we're gonna have a gold visa. You gotta have $5 billion to make the investment in this country. And he has his Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick stand next to him, who's never been in government before, and it shows. Who stands there and says, "Yeah, the e-visa program was rife with fraud. Ours won't be." What? What about this administration tells people, gives them comfort that a program that they establish won't be rife with fraud? It's based on fraud. We're going to let people at the $5 billion level buy their way into citizenship.
Of course. Speak of power, and it shall crash. I knew I shouldn't have said anything.
Citizenship, while we chase hard-working, undocumented people through churches and schools and hospitals, that's the America that we want to live in. We're that desperate for money
That's the first one tonight,
we put ourselves up for sale and auction because why? Because we have a transactional president, a transactional criminal president, and therefore my values and ideals have to be put up for sale. No, I refuse. I refuse to accept that is our America, the one that's being portrayed every day by Donald Trump and a bunch of businessmen who've only in their entire lives cared about the bottom line, how much money they have, how many planes they have, how many yachts they have, how many vacations they can take, and the rest. They are not connected to the American people. They are wholly disconnected. They've ripped up the social contract. They've ripped up accountability between the government and the people because they're not there for the people. They ran on a phony populist message. That's where it started, to get Donald Trump out from under his criminal problems. Let's be honest with each other first. Donald Trump's not facing or staring down the barrel of criminal prosecutions and trials. He doesn't run for office at 80 years old. He goes back to being a business person in New York, maybe. He becomes semi-retired. He only ran to outrun the prosecutors. That's it. So when this administration looks you in the eye and says, "Trust us, trust me," start to worry. Start to worry. Because that's the beginning of a series of lies and policy to match. And we got to call it out, and we're doing it every day, every hour on the Midas Touch Network. It is, right now, I believe it is the only fair-minded, honest, independent reporting platform out there. And there's a reason why, since the election.
I can't argue that. I've done a ton of digging and research to find good news networks or media sources. And this is the only one I can find that is constantly on point. Constantly bringing receipts, constantly showing you what's up. Even if you have to watch it a little bit, it's not majorly exaggerated to where you're going to not have anything close to the accurate information. It's not lies, which is quite a deal.
So many like-minded people have flocked to join us here on Midas Touch and on Legal AF. They come for the lies. They stay for the analysis. Because we can't ignore it. I can't get up in the morning and look myself and my family in the eye and say, I didn't do enough today to oppose this corrupt, failing presidency that's making a mockery of American values domestically and around the world. I got to work every day to ensure that we have an America on the other side. I saw bumper stickers recently driving around right now that said, from the election, make America great. Take America back. Take it back from whom? Speaking of taking it back, I want to take it back with both hands and everybody with me. Take America back. Rip away this MAGA shrink wrap around the beating heart of American democracy and start being, again, the shining beacon on the hill that our constitutional republic had been until a month ago around the world and domestically. We're supposed to be a proud American people with a set of values. Ask people around the world what our values are when we stand there talking about the lies and fraudulent accounting, about cost cutting, and we put our country and citizenship up for sale to the highest bidder. What does that say about our values? And continue to follow it all right here on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. I got a new show called Pope Pog Live. It's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Midas Touch Network. We got a great audience, 300,000-400,000 a week, 15,000, 20,000 joining us in live recording. Pope Pog Live, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Legal AF, the original OG podcast, top 10 in the world on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here on the Midas Touch Network on YouTube. Then we got a new channel that I curate, Intersection of Law.
Okay, tons of shout out for the game, or nothing. So yeah, channel. Okay, looks like there's 2 full length and 1 short from this morning.
How did Mr. Incredible put the entire insurance industry to shame in just 12 seconds?
Donald Trump managed to completely destroy the Goldilocks economy that was handed to him by former President Biden in under 45 days. But get this, while MAGA is turning against Donald Trump, they're doing it for a number of reasons. One is the economic crash that he is causing right now. But a lot of MAGA influencers are getting pissed that Donald Trump promised to release the Epstein files. And now he's claiming he's released them all, but he really just released redacted phone logs, which were unredacted and released about 4 years ago during the Elaine Maxwell trial. And Trump brought a select group of propagandists to the White House to hold up a binder to say, we did it, we released it, we're the most transparent. And then the other MAGA influencers weren't buying it. Let's break it all down. So last night around 8:30 p.m., Donald Trump was posting this as usual. Sleepy Joe Biden left us a total mess. The budget from last year is still not done. We are working very hard with the House and Senate to pass a clean, temporary government funding bill to the end of September. Let's get it done, he writes. I'm just trying to understand this. You're saying there's all of this fraud in the government, all of this fraud, but you want a CR, a continuing resolution to continue to fund all of those things. Do I have that right? Also, who was in charge of Congress for the past 2+ years now? Was it you? Was it MAGA Mike Johnson? You see, I recall an actual budget being passed and things being done when Democrats were in control, but then the MAGA Republicans were unable to push through a budget. They had to do these continuing resolutions where they relied on the support of Democrats to avoid government shutdowns. So now you're just proposing more continuing resolutions. You can't even fulfill your most basic function right here. How pathetic is that? Take a look, folks, at what we're seeing. Doesn't Donald Trump say he's the crypto president? Well, let's take a look at Mr. crypto over there. It looks like Bitcoin is down, 16% in the past 5 days alone. It's down, 16,214. It's now at 80,000, literally crashing the crypto market. How much money's been lost? Over like $1 trillion in the.
To those of you who got into the crypto field, sorry. This is also why I didn't start doing crypto and shit like that. I don't completely understand crypto, but I understand its premise. And knew that with our people being the way they are, or were at least, that someone like Trump is very likely to become an office again. And, well, I know full well how bad that's going to screw the economy. How bad it's going to screw people trying to do investments of any place. I'm sorry. But there's none of you out there that can tell that or even listen to me. Because what do I know? And I don't mean that as an insult to either side of the situation. That's just coming from a standpoint of common sense. I don't do crypto and don't understand it properly. What would I really know?
Past week under Donald Trump. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ for the past month. Down 797 points, down over 4%. Let's take a look at the Dow over the past month. Down 1,400 points, or about 3.3%. This guy is a freaking disaster. He's a disaster for the markets. If you have a 401k, your 401k is like my 401k, which was thriving under former President Biden. Right now, I look at that with horror, which is being caused by Donald Trump. And I'm lucky that I get to do this every single day. And my heart goes out to all of the federal employees and all the people out there who have now lost their jobs because Donald Trump wants to have his ego flattered while he talks about tariffs and says you're fired, and demeans and degrades hard-working federal employees and other workers as well who are now losing their jobs based on his despicable policies. Him and Elon Musk and that whole brigade of 19 to 25-year-olds. Horrific stuff. Jobless claims were through the roof.
Good job on actually addressing that properly, Ben. Much better. For some reason, I think you guys watch over some of my stuff. And it seems to be whenever I mention something, even if I don't put it in the comments, it becomes addressed. So I don't know if y'all watch my stuff or it's just a damn good coincidence to have to be happening 4 times now. So, if you are watching, thank you. Good morning. Straight up.
You see a report earlier yesterday, jobless claims exceeded economists' expectations by significant margins. You have consumer sentiment is crashing right now. In under 45 days, he managed to do all of that. Despicable. Here's one of the things that we posted on the Midas Touch account, and we actually got a lot of support from hardcore MAGAs. We posted these MAGA influencers who went to the White House, who were given this binder that said, here are the Epstein files. And It was like 100 pages, and it was all redacted, basically. Here's what we wrote. MAGA influencers made a mockery of serious crimes with real victims today, helping the government, Trump, hide the Epstein files so many Americans demand. They tried to gaslight even their own followers, but got exposed. Even their own followers were like, what a disgrace. And you see here they got literally a binder of redacted information. Believe it or not, I'm sure you believe it, 5 years ago at the Elaine Maxwell trial and other matters, this information was already out there. These aren't the Epstein files. This is the call log that was previously released that Donald Trump's name was on, as well as about 15 to 20 different contact information for Donald Trump, including direct emergency contacts. Donald Trump's direct emergency contacts. But it looks like in the binder the MAGA influencers got that information was redacted, but I have the information because it was previously released, and now you have that information. Laura Loomer, hardcore MAGA. She goes, I'm not even joking. I literally feel physically nauseous over what happened at the White House today. I ordered dinner and I can't even eat it. I have no appetite for what happened today. This is really unacceptable, and everyone should be calling today's stunned out. Dave Portnoy, right-wing MAGA sports influencer, whatever the hell he is, goes, if I'm going to be fair, these questions need to be asked today. Why is the release of the Epstein list always a shit show? What's the point of booting out illegals and criminals while somehow becoming a safe haven for Andrew Tate and his brother? Why is crypto in the toilet if Trump is a crypto king? How far does Tesla stock have to crash before Elon goes back to work? I have other questions as well.
Okay, so that was not Tate asking. That was other supporters and other influencers. I like that. That is good stuff.
Dave, how about why are prices surging right now when Donald Trump said on day one he was going to make prices more affordable and bring down the prices immediately? I think I have receipts of that. Here, play this clip of Donald Trump making that promise.
So when I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. We will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby. We're going to drill.
Or I have another question, Dave. Why isn't there peace in Ukraine in 24 hours, which Donald Trump said that he was going to do? Even before he took office, he said he would call Zelensky, he would call Putin. They would just figure it out like that because he's such a good deal maker. He'd be able to figure it out. I have receipts of that too. Here, let's play this.
End the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
How would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well. I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. I will get the war ended. I'll stop all of those lives from being wasted and lost. And there'll be no more bombing of Ukraine. There'll be no more bombing of Russia. And everybody will be happy. It can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done from the office of the president. And you have to get them both in a row. And there are things you can say to each one of them, which I won't reveal now, which will guarantee that this war will end immediately.
You know, that to get it done, I can do it in 24 hours. I know both players, and I can do that in 24 hours. But you can only do it from the office of the president. You need that. You need that seat. You need one tail in that seat, and I would have that done in 24 hours. It wouldn't even be tough. I know what to say to each of them, and there's no way they would reject it.
I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours.
This is not a scam.
Hey, they're bringing the receipts. Stop it.
I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I will have the deal done in 24 hours from the time we started. And I would tell Zelensky something, and I would tell Putin something, and I'd get him into a room, and I'd tell him again and again. I would have a deal done very quickly.
Why isn't housing more affordable? Why is it less affordable? Why was the recent stat that, like, there are less houses right now being purchased than, like, ever in history? That's probably a bad number. By the way, what was Donald Trump talking about all day yesterday? Oh, was he talking about that he was going to impose those tariffs on Mexico and Canada for all products, which he made a deal about and said he wasn't going to impose, and now he gave himself like a 30-day deadline, and now he says he is going to impose it on Canada and Mexico. As he goes, all this fentanyl is the Prime Minister of UK, is in the Oval Office. Donald Trump held this press conference with Keir Starmer, and Trump is asked, will you be discussing AUKUS? Trump, what do you think about AUKUS, huh? Does Trump know what it is?
Discussing AUKUS with the Prime Minister, so
What does that mean?
AUKUS, the Australia-US defence line.
So we'll be discussing that. We've had another great relationship that you have too with Australia. Yeah. We've had a very good relationship with Australia.
And Donald Trump is asked, do you still think Zelensky is a dictator? Because every day Donald Trump has been saying Zelensky is a dictator. Also, Donald Trump made the United States join the axis of evil. I can't believe I'm saying these words. Donald Trump made the United States join the axis of evil with North Korea, with Russia, Belarus, and Hungary to oppose a United Nations resolution condemning Russia on the 3-year anniversary of their unlawful invasion of Ukraine. Here's what Donald Trump says when he's asked if Zelensky's a dictator. Play this.
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
Oh, Donald, you don't remember, okay. Well, here Donald Trump then is asked about, you're destroying the veterans community. You're aware that veterans make up about 30% of federal workers as well. Are you tracking how many veterans you're firing? Because there's quite a few. A lot of disabled veterans getting fired, a lot of spouses of active duty getting fired. Here's what Trump says, play this.
I didn't know anything about it.
Workforce. Are you tracking how many veterans have been fired so far?
Yes, we are, and we take good care of our veterans, so we're watching that very carefully, and we hope it's going to be as small a number as possible. But we are having great success in slimming down government. It's been really very successful. Some took payouts and buyouts, and others took other things, and some people we're finding out don't even exist. We're finding that we have a lot of people that don't exist that people thought that did. We will be making a statement on that, but we're taking care of our veterans. We love our veterans. We're going to take good care of them.
As I've always said, his incompetence is matched by his corruption. His corruption is matched by his cruelty. And just take a look at what they did yesterday as well. Remember how we previously reported at the Munich conference where Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth were attacking Europe and attacking NATO? You know what they were spending time doing? It was reported then that one of the American liaisons who were there went to the Romanian foreign minister and told them and put pressure on them to release Andrew Tate. 3 weeks later or so, Andrew Tate, who faces sex trafficking charges in Romania, comes back to the United States. Voila, like that. What happened about a month or two ago? Oh, Donald Trump's top advisor, Alina Habba, was doing podcasts with Andrew Tate, and she fangirled over him. Here's what happened. Let's play the clip.
Hey.
Hello, Alina.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm a fan. You're the one saying the Trump. You're doing more work than me.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said. And I think that your anger is the same that President Trump has for our country. And the time is now for us to stop being wimps. I think that's exactly the right sentiment. And I also have to say that I sympathize with you because I think you go through a lot of the same, show me the person, I'll find the crime that President Trump has gone through. And
by the way, did you read this article from Washington Post here? It's Riley Cooper, 24 years old. She lost her job with the U.S. Forest Service, and she goes on to talk about how she voted for Trump. Here's the story. She hoped Trump's victory would change her life, but not like this. Riley Cooper is normally focused on motherhood, more on motherhood than politics. Then came Doge. Talks about how her union leader went to her. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It was the second Thursday in February, and a historic White House purge aimed at federal workers like Cooper was sweeping the country. But the headlines felt far away from her life in rural Michigan. She figured her job, with paychecks totaling about $40,000 a year, would be safe from the cost-cutting campaign led by Trump and billionaire.
About $40,000 a year. That's awfully specific. The stimulus check was supposed to be for people that could only, supposedly, again, this is Google information, supposedly only for people who make $40,000 a year or more. So it sounds like somebody's separating the middle class from the upper class. I'm just going to point that out.
Elon Musk, besides motherhood, was her most pressing concern. Motherhood was her most pressing concern. Cooper, 24, and her husband were trying to get pregnant, but the doctor said that IVF might be her best chance. Trump had promised to make it free. That is what she thought when she ended up voting for him. Now she was staring at her phone, learning that probationary workers in the bar service were the next to be fired. And guess what? The IVF wasn't free. He didn't make IVF free. There's no tax on tips, there's no tax on overtime, or no tax on any of it. It's all bullshit. He's a con artist.
There's no free groceries, which was another thing that he had said. Just to be clear. Hey, excuse you. Why the hell did you...
Now he's out there saying he's selling Trump gold cards for $5 million to, that's what he said, to Russian oligarchs and Chinese oligarchs to buy citizenship in the United States for $5 million. Don't believe O'Connor. That's hyperbole. They say Midas Touch is anti-Trump and you're a lefty. Donald Trump didn't say he was going to sell Trump cards to Russian oligarchs. Yes, he did. Play the clip. Go down to that.
Russian oligarch eligible for a gold card? Yeah, possibly. I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. It's possible. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they can afford $5 million.
Oh shit!
I just don't care what political party you're from. You can't be okay with that.
I thought
the
it
United
was
States of America.
500,000. I thought it was half a million. No, it's 5 million.
Well, you have Elon Musk.
Did he raise the price?
Posting this increasingly significant consideration. Here's
I don't
the
think so.
that Musk posts. Ladies, it's time to start thinking about whether the guy you're dating has post-apocalyptic or more potential. What the hell is going on? We're going to cover this every step of the way here at the Midas Touch Network. I understand that people are rising up now and are absolutely pissed and livid at this.
Just like his kiddo.
I don't love reporting on F around and find out stuff because I hate that Americans are suffering. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but that's my baby girl crying in the background right now. And it's her bedtime when I record this before the next day. But I think about her generation. I think about why I do this every single day, what I'm fighting for. I know what I'm fighting for. I know what you're fighting for. America's so much better than this crap that I just showed you. So much better than this crap.
Seriously.
It's not about political parties.
No.
Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.midastouch.com. All 100.
Why does that keep trying to open up? Last one.
Where are the files, Donald? Where did they go? You said you were going to declassify and release all of the Epstein files. Surprise, surprise, you're lying. So yesterday, Donald Trump invited all of these MAGA influencers to the White House, and they all got a binder that said, here are the Epstein files. And then they all proudly held up those binders when they were leaving the White House, and they were like, we did it. They were smiling and high-fiving each other as they were holding up these binders. They were pretty small binders. I thought these Epstein files would be terabytes. Well, it turns out what they gave these influencers who all coordinated their messaging afterwards were apparently like the phone list that was previously released in connection with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, Epstein's trafficker, and in other cases in the past. It's already public, and these influencers, as they were opening up the pages, it showed that it was basically all redacted stuff. And the MAGA people online and the other MAGAs who were not invited to the White House, the MAGAs who were not in this select group of propagandists, they were absolutely pissed. And so you've got messages like this from Abby Libby. What a horrible, humiliating, demoralizing day to be conservative. I'm sorry you were ever conservative. You got messages like this. This is Dominic Trippi, who goes, trust has been entirely eroded. I'm viscerally disgusted. The account Truth Questioner goes, I really don't like how Trump is handling things so far. He needs to release the files, the Epstein files. He needs to fix the economy. Tariffs ain't in. So on our Midas Touch account, we posted this photo of the MAGA influencers who went to the White House yesterday, who got these binders that say transparency is here, the Epstein files. The Epstein files are terabytes of data. I mean, it's all these witness statements, depositions. That's what they were supposed to release, not the old phone logs that were already released. And a lot of MAGA people were responding to our post, where MAGAs were responding to us in agreement. What a disgrace. I mean, could you imagine? Here's what we wrote. MAGA influencers made a mockery of serious crimes with real victims today, helping the government hide the Epstein files so many Americans demand. They tried to gaslight even their own followers, but got exposed. Take a look at these MAGA propagandists. You had like the TikTok libs woman, you had the DC Drano guy, Jack Posobiec over there, and like other MAGAs were like, what the heck? Here is a pic of all of them. Wonder how the Epstein victims are feeling about all of this as they're smiling and laughing and holding these binders up like it's some game. And here's what an account wrote that goes, breaking. Social media influencers who received the Epstein binder were caught posting identical messages, making it seem like a coordinated advertisement. And you can see that they all wrote the exact same message, like the DC Drano and Chad Prather, same exact thing. Today I met with President Trump, VP J.D. Vance, AG Pam Bondi, and FBI Director Ganesh Patel in the Oval Office. They handed me a binder copy of the Epstein files. This is the most transparent administration in American history. The best part, this is just the start. AG Bondi confirmed there are thousands of more Epstein file documents being secretly held in the SDNY, and they will be delivered to the DOJ in D.C. by February 28th. We will be going to jail. People will be going to jail for what they've done. And it's literally the exact same message that all these influencers posted, copy and pasted. MAGA Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna writes, I nor the task force, she's in charge of like the Epstein task force that the MAGA Republicans created, but it was like y'all realize that Donald Trump was like Epstein's like good friend, like one of his closest friends, and that like Epstein got the trafficking victims at Mar-a-Lago, like Virginia Giuffre. You realize in the documents that were turned over the past 5 to 7 years already, Trump's name's like all over the stuff. Like he's on the phone logs, he's on the caller ID list, he's on the flight logs, he's in deposition testimony at Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking trial. A woman who was 14 years old at the time, was a girl at the time, said that Epstein brought her to Mar-a-Lago, identified as a Jane Doe. Donald Trump said that Epstein's a great guy who likes women on the younger side. Donald Trump's been found liable for sexual assault. Like, y'all realize all of these things anyway. So Anna Paulina Luna, who's investigating this for Congress, she goes, I nor the task force were given or reviewed the Epstein documents being released today. A New York Post story just revealed that the documents will simply be Epstein's phone book. This is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment. get us the information we asked for. By the way, just take a look at even the phone log that was turned over, and it's redacted because in the real phone log that was not redacted, which we have, Trump's name is on it because Trump was Epstein's friend. That's why. Some other MAGA accounts, this is the Quarterin who goes, when Pam Bondi went on Fox News last night and said that her office was releasing new Epstein flight logs, that's Pat Bondi's the Attorney General, names and information saying it's, quote, pretty sick what that man did. She already knew what was in the binders. She lied to the American people. She should resign. That the MAGA Republican House, this is their official account, the House Judiciary GOP account goes, breaking. Epstein files released, then it gives a link, but the link provided does not contain the Epstein files. The link played a Rick Astley music video instead, to which many of the Republican influencers were like, cringe. Even Tim Pool said, cringe. Now, Dave Portnoy, the right-wing influencer,
They rickrolled them? What? I'm gonna have to see if that's legit. Are you kidding me?
Judiciary GOP account goes, breaking. Epstein files released, then it gives a link, but the link provided does not contain the Epstein files. The link played a Rick Astley.
It's Twitter readers added content. Link provided does not contain Epstein files. The link plays a Rick Astley music video. And it gives a link to the YouTube link. Okay. That's a Timcast, the Culture War podcast. Yeah. So, homie's even a part of the freaking right wing. There he is. Posted quote is unavailable, so it's been taken down now. You can't even find that actual original post on Twitter at the moment. It shows the part where he's reposting it with cringe, but the original post has been removed. So, we have that little tidbit now.
Music video instead, to which many of the MAGA Republican influencers are like, cringed. Even Tim Pool said, cringe. Now, Dave Portnoy, the right-wing influencer who created Barstool, here's what he writes. If I'm going to be fair, these questions need to be asked today. Why is the release of the Epstein list always a shit show? What's the point of rooting out illegals and criminals while somehow becoming a safe haven for the Tate brothers? Why is crypto in the toilet if Trump is the crypto king? How far does Tesla stock have to crash before Elon goes back to work? Right-wing influencer and previously one of the kind of leaders of kind of the MAGA Trump crew, but Trump's kind of pushed her to the side. Laura Loomer, she goes, I'm not even joking. I literally feel physically nauseous over what happened at the White House This is really unacceptable, and everyone should be calling today's stunt out. Then you have Attorney General Pam Bondi sent this letter to Kash Patel, basically going after him and blaming Patel for not turning over to her the files. She goes, "Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files released to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers." Pause there. All of that already existed. All that's out there. Trump's name is all over a lot of that stuff. That's been out there from the prior trials, like the Ghislaine Maxwell. It's all the other stuff that hasn't been released that people want to see. The terabytes, the investigative files, the witness statements, the photographs, the videos, all the surveillance footage, all of that stuff needs to be released. She goes on to say, this is again Trump's AG. "I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and I was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents." Pause. I mean, how can you be so stupid? Clearly that's not the full set of documents. I mean, if you are an attorney general, you would think, or you would know, that a small group of documents is not the terabytes of documents that exist. She goes on to say, "Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York is in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I to learn this new information." Pause there. It's not going to be thousands. It would be terabytes, tens of millions of pages of documents and video and photos and all this, thousands.
Saved on a fucking hard drive. It's not going to be paperwork anymore. It's going to be a fucking hard drive.
They're blaming it now on an FBI field office in New York. You see what they're doing? She goes on to say, "By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, so today, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio and video recordings, and materials related to Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. There will be no withholding or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims and in accordance with the law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor." So now let me show you this. So this was Bondi from about 2 weeks ago on Fox, when she said the files would be released. Play this clip.
"The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients." Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president for all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything there? You just said, "Oh my gosh." Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Now this is Bondi from 2 nights
Not
ago,
yet.
saying that she goes, "Breaking news, I'm releasing stuff." You're playing this clip.
One of the things a lot of people are wondering, as you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have, over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow.
250? Are they mixing up victim for client? Because that number, it's a little low. Epstein had thousands of girls go through it. And you only got 200 something victims? What? This doesn't math up. This does not math up at all.
Laura, Jesse, breaking news right now. You're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay. Well,
along with his co-defendant.
Absolutely, and he had help. That's for sure.
Now let's break down one of the things that's happening here. Here's a flashback to September where Donald Trump is on a podcast and he calls Jeffrey Epstein a good salesman and a hailing, hearty type of guy, whatever the hell that means. Play this clip.
A lot of people do. Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allow to get so close? He was a good salesman. He was, hailing, hearty type of guy. He had some nice assets that he threw around like islands. But a lot of big people went to that island. Unfortunately, I was that one.
It's
very strange.
bullshit.
That the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public. Yeah. It's very interesting. So if you were able to, certainly take a look at it. Kennedy's so many years ago.
Here, Donald Trump is asked on the same podcast by Lex Fridman about Epstein again. Here's what Trump says. Let's play it.
There was a moment when you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein. Why the hesitation? I don't know. I mean, I'm not involved. I never went to his island. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing for sure.
And just to remind you, when Donald Trump went on Fox during the election, October 24, 2024, or no, he went on before that, Fox edited Trump's answer when they asked him if he'd declassified the files on Epstein. Trump's full response, let me play you his full response now, play it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah. I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
YouTube. I think YouTube's about had enough of this today. We're almost on YouTube.
Let me show you the edited version now, play it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
Attorney General. And then just again, you can see the phone logs that we have, so you can see the call logs, the Trump's numbers, and the name and numbers all over it. By the way, even this week, Donald Trump, when he was posting this video of himself in Trump Gaza, he posts this photo of himself, with his hands right by this woman's chest, who's not his wife. Donald Trump held beauty pageants for teenage girls or preteens. Who does that? And then he would invite them on boats, and you can literally see him with these girls right here. Here's what Donald Trump said in his own words about when he would own pageants. One of the things that he would do at the pageants that he would own is he would inspect women naked. He said, play this clip.
Meeting the girls, and one of them comes up and says, Mr. Trump, very sexy.
Want me to get fantastic hair.
Right, you're powerful. Right. See, and you're not the type to say no.
I don't want to hurt that thing.
Right. No, you want to have that. You want to have everything.
It's true, however, as yeah,
It's the kind of thing you worry about later. No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, it's the from the country, you say hello with the check. What you can also say is the owner of the pension, that's your obligation to do that. So you have done that too. I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no matter anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pension, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting it. I want to make sure they're like a doc's good. Is everyone okay? Is everybody okay? You see these incredible looking women. So I sort of get away with it.
Okay, now, at the same time all of that's taking place, yesterday, Andrew Tate and Tate's brother were arrested in Romania. They were accused of sex trafficking there involving minors as well in Romania. That's what they were alleged to have committed there. They went back to the United States. It caught Ron DeSantis off guard because they were going to Florida. And he's like, what the hell is happening here? This is what DeSantis said. Let's play it.
We have no involvement in that. I read about it in the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction whether they want to rebuff its entry into the United States. And I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Christine Ohm, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Guzmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening. Okay, guys.
More MAGA people are saying, like Adam said, he said, I voted for an administration that would stop human trafficking at our borders. I voted to get rapists and pedophiles off the streets. Trump's action freeing the Tate brothers was a stunning betrayal of his mandate. Here's Trump's top advisor, Alina Habba, previously fangirling over Andrew Tate, who's been involved in some heinous conduct. Play this clip.
Hello, Alina.
Nice to meet you. Big fan.
I'm saying to Trump, you're doing more important work than me.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said.
Oh, good. That's about it.
I think that your anger is the same that President Trump has for our country, and the time is now for us to stop being wimps. I think that's exactly the right sentiment. And I also have to say that I sympathize with you because I think you go through a lot of the same. Show me the person, I'll find the crime.
Jesus. So, that's what I've got for today so far. Until tomorrow, the morning news. This is Old Range Guy. And we'll see what tomorrow holds tomorrow. Ye freaking how y'all. And as always, I don't care what your denomination is, who your deities are. Pray these people come up for air. If you don't have the praise scenario, send out the good vibes into the atmosphere. Put it out there. I never tell people to pray, but there's ever a time. Pray to your gods. Pray that these people come for air. We all needed to